Listen, you know, sometimes I feel like that too. I be around 1,000 people and yet I be lonely. It's the truth. But you know, when I feel like that, what I do, I call up Mr. Billy Preston and I say, let's go and go. That's what I did. Let's go and go. Yes, I do. Baby, she won't let me in. I've got a few pennies now to buy myself a bottle of gin. That's why I call my buddy now on the telephone and I say, hey, never turn wrong. That's why I want to stop by now on my way home and say, oh Lord. Now there's just one more thing I want to talk about. Listen if you please. It ain't no harm. Ain't no harm. No, no, no. Have a little taste. Your cool. It's messed up this man's place. Ain't no harm. Ain't no harm. No, no, no. To take a little nip every now and then, but don't fall down and bust your leg. Oh, no, no. Let's go. I want to hear you sing that one more again, girl. Yeah, Lord.
Scoring position on the year. Curve is lifted in the air to deep left field. Pham's going back towards the corner. Goodbye. Pages connects again. His 5th of the season and give him 20 in the RBI total.
Goes with a pitch that he's not thrown very often at all this game. The curveball thing just kind of hung there. Pages does not miss it. That's on a 2-0 pitch.
All right, folks. Late night in L.A. The Mets' offensive woes are continuing. They lost 4-0 to the Dodgers in Game 1 of a 3-game. We have our good friend Tim Neverett on the phone from us, who does the broadcast for the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Mets Game 2 tonight. So, Tim, thank you so much for joining us this evening here on the East Coast. I know it's mid-afternoon there on the West Coast. So, talk about last night's win by the Dodgers 4-0. It looks like the Mets offense is struggling because they can't even get any runs on the board.
Well, it's really been bad as far as the Mets are concerned. I mean, they've been shut out in 3 of their last 6. They were swept by the A's at home. Then they come to Dodger Stadium, and they've been outscored 34-9 during their 6-game losing streak. So they just haven't had guys on base. They haven't gotten hits. You know, they're missing Juan Soto right now. Then tonight they've got to face the World Series MVP and Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the hill, and then Shohei Ohtani tomorrow. So it doesn't get any easier for the Mets. But as far as they're concerned, I mean, they're scratching their head. They're trying to figure out how to win a ball game. But, they've been shut out in consecutive games. Last night, Justin Robleski pitched a great game. 8 shutout innings, and it was his best game as a major leaguer. But the Mets just, they are not getting it done right now, and the Dodgers are slowly starting to get things going offensively with where they think they should be. And even though they're tops in Major League Baseball in batting average and home runs and all that, they don't even believe they're close to where they should be.
Yeah. Well, it's still early. It's April, and a lot of teams right now, if the Mets are struggling now, I was glad to get it away in April instead of going into August and September with can't score any runs, because you need that during the end of the year. Don't worry about the first part of the year, because everybody's still trying to figure out what they're doing in April.
Well, things can be different from month to month, but the thing is, you lose a game in April, you don't get it back in September. So, and we talk about it often, that when you say, well, it's early, you can drop a game here and there. Well, you don't get it back in September when you really need it. So, I just think that, certain times months are different. Teams play, you might have a winning month in May and a losing month in June. You just never know. It just depends on what's happening right now. And again, the Mets, they got some key injuries. So, but they just haven't been putting enough balls in play with any kind of authority. And the great thing about baseball is that you never know what you're going to see when you go to the ballpark. I mean, a team that's just struggling can all of a sudden turn it around. I know for the Dodgers, they hope it's not tonight for the Mets, but because the Dodgers want to keep on rolling. And they've got a 4-gamer with Colorado coming up in Colorado after this series. So they think that they can probably make some more hay as far as the month of April is concerned.
Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah, so regarding the NL West this year, Tim, do you think it's the LA Dodgers versus the rest of the division?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's probably right. The Padres are making a statement right now that they want to be in this race. The Diamondbacks also, but the Giants have had their struggles this month, and so have the Rockies. They just got swept in a 4-game series at San Diego, and that's why the Padres are where they are. They walked off 2 of those games against the Rockies with home runs. But the Rockies, unfortunately, I don't believe they're going to be a factor. It's been so bad in Colorado that if they lose 100 games, that's a huge improvement over where they've been. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to improve. They're trying to change the way they do business, but I don't think it's going to be enough for this year. I think it's going to be a slow rebuild for them.
Yeah. Let's talk about this pitching matchup, McLean versus, the World Series MVP. McLean is he's 1-1 with an ERA of 2.70, but that curveball is pretty nasty. I saw that against the Giants the other night, a couple of weeks ago. He froze Devers like a frozen pizza with that nasty curveball. It reminds me of Doc Gooden back in the day.
Well, yeah, Doc, anything he threw that was off that fastball that he had is great. But, you look at what McLean's done, and the curveball in particular, the curveball's been very good. In fact, I think, opponents I looked at the number earlier, there's 3 for 40 in his career. He struck out 28 of the 40 with his curveball. Mm-hmm. So, he hasn't had a long career yet. It's a small sample size, but from what he's shown, it's been really, really good. His sweeper's a good pitch, too. I think he's a good pitcher. He's an up-and-coming guy. I don't think that he's an ace at this point in time in his career, but he wants to be that, and I think at some point he might be. But I think he's a very good pitcher, and he's got some really good tools to work with.
Yeah. Adam, you have another question?
Yeah. So, looking ahead to tomorrow, it's a very special day now, just for the Dodgers, for all of Major League Baseball. It's Jackie Robinson Day. So just talk about what the LA Dodgers are doing to honor one of the greats of all time in Jackie Robinson tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's always special at Dodger Stadium, and they always try to make sure that the Dodgers are home. Baseball does a good job with that. They want the Dodgers to be at home on April 15th every year. it'll be the 79th anniversary of Jackie breaking the color barrier. So, what'll happen is both the Dodgers and the Mets will meet out in the center field plaza. There's a Jackie Robinson statue out there. Bob Kendrick, who is the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and if you know anything about Bob Kendrick, this guy's one of the best speakers I've ever heard. I've been on his tour on multiple occasions at the museum in Kansas City, and it's every time he speaks, it's like a living documentary. And he's going to be one of the key speakers. The granddaughters of Jackie and Rachel Robinson will be there. Sonia Pankey Robinson and Io Robinson are going to be there. Obviously both managers and executives and people from the ball club will be gathered around the Jackie Robinson statue for a program there. Obviously, like everybody else around baseball, they'll be wearing number 42. And it's very special when you see the guys in a Dodger uniform wearing number 42 and what it means to them. And it's a great day in baseball because of what it represents. And I think it's even more special because Jackie was a Dodger. He was a UCLA Bruin. Oh, and one other thing, they've tied in his alma mater, so they're going to bring out the national champion women's basketball team from UCLA.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Throw out a first pitch and be recognized on the field tomorrow as well.
Well, that's
Yeah, I know that. Right now out there in LA, the UCLA baseball team is the number one team in the country, and they're on like what are the 26 or 27 game winning streak. And I know that you were just talking about the UCLA women's basketball team coming off a Final Four victory, and last night in the WNBA draft, I believe they had 6 players drafted, the most of all time. So things are going good out there in SoCal right now for you guys, Tim.
Yeah, not too bad. And our manager, Dave Roberts, is also a UCLA alum.
Yes, he is.
So, things are going pretty well here in Southern California. The Dodgers are off to a good start. They just want to keep the foot on the gas. And, they've been there before. I mean, you go back a few years now, I want to say it was 21 maybe, where they won 106 games and lost the division by 1 game to the Giants.
Yes.
They realize that if you give away 1 game, it could hurt you in the end. And they want to make sure that they have a big enough cushion in the division to win it again and to take that into the postseason. And they feel they've got the team to do it. In fact, they feel that this team is better this year than it was last year. And, frankly, I kind of agree with that after seeing what they're rolling out there now roster-wise.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your starting pitcher. He hasn't pitched against the Mets since 2024. I don't think there's anybody on that Met roster has faced him yet, except for Bouchette last year in the World Series. I think that's the only guy.
Yeah, and it's, if he's on, he's on. You're not going to hit him. That's just the way it is with him. He's very mechanically sound. He does everything the same way. From his, the way that he releases the ball is the same way, whether it's a splitter, whether it's a curveball, whether it's a fastball. So the ball comes out of the same arm slot no matter what. And then if he's got his good splitter tonight, he's just going to be really hard to hit. Yeah. And he does sequence his pitches in such a way where he's difficult to get into any kind of a pattern against. You can't go up there and go, he's going to start me with a curveball. Next thing you know, the fastball's by you. So he's very good at sequencing his pitches. And, he's very, very mechanical. If you watch him at all, you'll see it over and over again how mechanical he is. And he's just really, really solid, very, very consistent. He's due for a good one. He didn't have a great outing last time out, and that's going to happen. But we'll see what happens tonight. The weather's really good here, so it's going to be a little bit cool at the park. relatively speaking, here in Southern California, if you've got a game time temperature of 60 degrees, that's cold for a lot of people out here. Not for you guys back there, right. But for us out here. But it'll be a really nice, pleasant night at the ballpark, and I think that he should have I don't see any reason why he won't have a good game.
Yeah. Well, Tim, let me let you go. But if you guys want to watch him, he's going to be on the. If you have the MLB app on TV, if you want to go to Sportsnet LA to listen to him do the broadcasts on TV, it's great to have him on there. So, Tim, thank you so much. Enjoy the broadcast, and we'll catch up with you down the road.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it very much.
All right, see you. Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, that's our good friend Tim Everett from the Dodgers talking about tonight's game. It's game 2 between the Dodgers and Mets. And you can watch that game. If you like the Met version, is on SNY. And if you like the Dodgers version, it's going to be on Sportsnet Los Angeles. So,
So
I prefer the SNY broadcast. Because
it's called. And I think that Keith Hernandez is getting ready to have back surgery. So
I saw that.
So he's not going to be a part of the
Yeah.
broadcast for a while, so we want to send out our best wishes.
He came back last week for the Diamondback series. He's like, "Yeah, I'm injured, but I'll be on the DL, but I'm coming out."
Hey, folks, I do want to say this. If you love bowling like we do, stay tuned for coming up in the 8 p.m. hour and the 9 p.m. hour, because we're going to have on 3 of the 5 people that were on the stepladder final for the Surfside PBA Tour New York Classic, including the winner, second place, and third place, all tonight. So tell your friends, if they love bowling, come find us here at Herb FM Sports Radio. And Chris, what's going on with the PBA Tour? 3 rookies win this year on this, with the CW in their debut year, and I can't wait to get to Akron next week for the Tournament of Champions.
It's getting to that time. I know your buddies are heading out to.
My good friend Mike Ware, Joel and Picky from Massachusetts. They are going to be at the stepladder finals on Sunday for the Owens Craft Mixers PBA Tour Rotholman Double Championship. And speaking of, we're going to have the owner of Bayside Bowl, our good friend Charllie Mitchell, on the phone later on tonight. It's nice to see the PBA Tour return to the craziness of Portland, Maine after a 1-year absence.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Speaking of tonight, at 8:30, we have the guy who there's a book out about the Steinbrenners, and it's a very good. It's a good read. Let's play this little clip here. Here's George Steinbrenner. Mike, let me say his last name. Mike Barzero.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right? From the New York Post. He wrote a book about the Steinbrenners from George to Hal. It's a really good book. Now you can get it on Amazon, or you could get it on Audible, so you can listen to it. It's all about the days of George Steinbrenner, and then he sadly passed away, and then he brought it, and his son took over. Hal and Hank took over. So we're going to talk to him about how he started that book with the Yankees in mind. So that'll be cool as well. And then another exciting thing is we will talk. Let's do this before we wait for Jeff Culhane joining us. This is Met history. This happened in 1994.
Good pitch. There's the drive. Way back. Near the wall. It's a home run, and they've taken the lead again. 3 different relief pitchers all have given up home runs with men on base. That's Kent's second home run of the day. He now has 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. 14 RBIs.
And all of them against the Cubs. That to the deepest part of the ballpark. It's a fastball. Kent has hit every fastball thrown to him for 2 straight series. This one down and over the plate. Tuffy Rhodes goes up. Just misses it. but misses it far enough, so the Mets have the lead once again. And the next time they see Jeff Kent, they'll throw him a few more breaking pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on that day in 1994, Jeff Kent gave Mets the lead over the Cubs, and he is going in the Hall of Fame this year. So I think he's going in as a San Francisco Giant. I think
yes,
he did
that is correct, Chris.
More with the Giants than when he did with the Mets. So
I know that it's called If You Love Wrestling. Now, Chris, do you love wrestling?
No, I don't have any tonight. Why?
I was gonna say this weekend is
WrestleMania. Yeah, mm-hmm.
It's WrestleMania.
Yeah, so. I forgot. Yeah, now it's a 2-day event. It used to be a 1-day.
Yeah, and I think the first hour on Saturday is going to be on ESPN2, and the first hour on Sunday is going to be on ESPN.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
you have to pay $25 and to watch it, or $45.
Yeah, well, I can say that one of the matches that's going to be aired on ESPN on Sunday is going to include Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay.
So you know who that is, Chris?
Yeah, I know who Brock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know all about the old school, WWE and
the
current.
Chris, it's called
yeah.
It's called If You. I will say it's called If You Ever Want to talk classic wrestling, Chris, I got a friend I can contact to come on the show. You talk classic wrestling and also classic boxing.
Yeah. I'm waiting for. Speaking of Florida State, this happened this afternoon in Tallahassee. Governor Ron DeSantis decided to rename the Tallahassee Airport as the Bobby Bowden Tallahassee International Airport is now official. So, that's pretty cool that they did something for the old ball coach. The man who put Florida State. You like my wrote on Facebook?
Yep. You mean to Danielle? Yeah.
Yes. About time. They should name.
It's called. Yeah, it's about time. And Chris, can I bring in our next?
So do you want to bring him in? Their big guy.
Yeah, sure. So, folks, it's spring football across the country right now, and the past 2 years have not gone the way that Florida State fans are hoping for. This year, they have a lot. They're returning a lot of key players. They have brought in a transfer quarterback from Auburn who I believe is going to be our starting quarterback. So to get us in the Florida State mood, let's bring in our good friend, the voice of the Noles, Jeff Culhane. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And what's the buzz going on down there in Tallahassee regarding the football team?
Chris and Adam, great talking to you. It means we got some football happening right now, and it'll be here before we know it, the start of the 2026 college football season. But I think everybody is just excited about the opportunity to see this team. They want to get a look at them, and they want to see the work that's gone on to building this roster in the offseason. And, to your guys' point, the last 2 years have not finished out the way we expected. And, last season, after beating Alabama and getting off to a great start, a top 10 team in the month of September, just couldn't find the right rhythm in ACC play. So there's an obvious hunger here for success. There always is, high levels of expectation. And this fan base is looking forward, I know, to seeing a bounce back and this team rebound here over the last couple of years.
I know Mike has closed most of practice, but you probably going to see a little bit in the beginning. What do you see from Mike's demeanor this spring? Is it a little more like he did last year at the ACC kickoff? Like he sounded like he was a preacher? Is it more like, he doesn't have Gus Malzahn as his offensive coordinator. He went to the college football playoff committee or whatever he's doing to help out. Plus, he's doing other things. What do you see from Mike? Does he look like he's, ready to change the page and say, all right, guys, we got new people here. Hopefully we can have people play for us, play for better what happened. Yeah, because I know that Stanford game was a complete train wreck, and it was a bad train wreck, out there. So hopefully that could be something to turn around and make it better this year.
I'm guessing Gus is probably a Waffle House.
Probably.
That's Gus's go-to. I saw he was there with his wife, Christy, just the other day. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
man, he loves Waffle House. He's a true Southern boy, that Gus
Yes,
Malzahn.
nice.
No, Mike Norvell is Mike Norvell. I mean, he is consistent in his approach. There's certainly a sense of urgency around, I would say, this coaching staff and around this team right now. But I don't think a whole lot has changed with Mike. He's just so locked into the belief of how he's supposed to go around and do it. And I think what's made the last 2 years even just more shocking is just because it's not that Mike hasn't won. I mean, this team won 19 games in a row and was 13-0 in 2023, not that long ago. So the roster management part of it is not that far off. I would say that even looking back at last year, guys, you look at, 6 or 7 plays in the red zone offensively where Florida State doesn't execute could really flip the tenor of a season from a 5-win team to potentially a 9-win team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody would have signed up for 9-3. And so that's the fine line of how close a team can be from the lack of success we saw from Florida State last year to having what would have been a respectable year, and one that would have been just fine with a win over Alabama. If you win 9 games last year, a lot of people are just fine, and we're not having this similar conversation about how do people feel right now. They don't feel great. Mike Norvell wants to win. He wants to win more than anybody. He is invested in this thing beyond, I think, anybody's understanding. He wants to get this program to the level of expectation that he has for it. And of course, the fan base has high levels of expectation here at FSU. So I would say Mike is Mike. He's been approaching everything with that same energy and that same relentlessness we've seen from him during his entire time in Tallahassee. And, I think the interesting thing with Mike Norvell, even early on in his tenure here at FSU, after his first 2 years, there were a lot of people thinking that he was on the hot seat, and he ripped off that solid 22 season and then the great 23 season. He knows how to do it. It's just a matter of finding that balance and eliminating some of those mistakes that we saw from this team a season ago.
Because I remember that Alabama game, I felt like everybody was praising me around here because I'm a big Florida State fan since I was a kid. And I had people calling me going, man, I saw that game. I sat there and watched the whole thing. And even my brother Will was the Miami Hurricane guy, called me up and said, like, dude, good win, dude. Really good win. And then all of a sudden he just, like, when we lost to them in middle of October, we had Miami on the ropes. Because if you look at the Miami game, what's his name? The coach, Mario Cristobal, he took the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. Because if you're playing your rival, you want to put them down. You don't want to keep them around. And if we got that onside kick perfectly, we would have had a tie game late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, got back into it late. Missed some opportunities early, though.
Right.
Missed some chances early in the game. Missed some guys in the passing game that led to turnovers. And I hate to say this, I walked away from the Miami game thinking they could go as far as they could because of their physicality in the trenches and how good they were getting in the quarterback and disrupting. And so I saw a little bit of that even early in October. I hate to give the Hurricanes any credit, but they were put together pretty well a season ago. And so, I never felt in any game last year that this Florida State team didn't have a chance to win. Even in 24, that was a different vibe, a different feeling. But last year, I never felt that way going into any game, even through some of the struggles on the road that this team had. So, again, guys, this team a year ago did not finish the way everybody wanted it to. It wasn't as far off in my mind as a lot of people feel. And so, a little bit of recalibration, some tightened up play at some different positions, and you're going to see a squad that's going to be right in the mix in the ACC and in that conversation nationally once again.
And can we win a ACC road game?
Thank you.
Because Florida State used to dominate ACC football when I was a kid growing up, Jeff. And it was like, when we don't win a road game, I feel like what in the world is going on around here? Because we used to go into these stadiums, these road games, and like take the crowd out and just literally make it into a Florida State team in that stadium. And now we can't even win a game in Virginia, and we played North Carolina State, except for that doink off the guy's helmet. That was really good. That was like
you guys are giving me just bad vibes here. We're talking about all the awful things that have happened the last 2 years.
I know.
Hey, trust me, I've been there for every second of every moment of the last 2 seasons. I hear you, but you're right. The road struggles have just been. It's hard to figure out. You're so. It was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of football team last year with the success at home. Even late in the year, a Wake Forest team coming in that had just beaten SMU and had one of the best defenses in the league, and it wasn't even a game at Doak that night. Florida State beat them up and beat up a Virginia Tech team that was trying to get to a bowl game. But just the way that FSU team looked, it was two different teams. And I think the exciting thing about it in this era, guys, is that no matter what happened a year ago, if you're able to find the right mix with your roster, stay healthy, have some luck go your way, you can flip this thing in a hurry. I mean, shoot, no one gave Florida State a chance to beat Alabama in the opener. Nobody picked Florida State to win, maybe outside of Brian McFadden and Danny Cannell. Who knows? But it goes to show you that you can flip when you get your roster turned around and get the right guys. I mean, nobody would have thought Indiana would have won a national championship a season ago. So anything can happen. Yes, that's kind of been the trend here over the last 2 years, but I'm excited to watch this group, go out and turn the tables around.
That's true. And Jeff, we're trying not to be all negative here, but I feel like when I talk to you, you get all our juices flowing, so we're ready to go for football. Yes. So it's like you're like our therapist, like we don't.
By the way, your note: the last road win was at Florida in 23, not Louisville.
I was.
An ACC
so your last ACC road win was at Pitt in 2023.
Okay, well, I guess I was wrong.
Yes. Yeah. So don't trust AI all the time, Chris. It's going to get you in trouble, pal. Do not do it.
I realized that a couple times now. So, whoops.
Don't do it, buddy.
But we were there for the ACC title game in Charlotte. So that was a
neutral
we
were.
So we know about them. They could win in a neutral area.
Yeah.
So they can do it.
But now, Jeff, you mentioned the roster, and a lot of players did return to the team. Malachi Danzy returns, Deuce Robinson returns. You did lose a lot, to the transfer portal, but you do bring in a good quarterback from Auburn. So do you think it'll be a quarterback competition between Ashton Daniels and Kevin Sperry?
Yeah, Adam, I think as of now there is. Yeah, I until Mike Norvell names a starter, I think you're going to have that narrative around this offense, and we'll see when he does. But yes, it's a competition right now. Ashton Daniels has a lot of experience. Started for 2 years at Stanford, finished up at Auburn a season ago, and really performed well. I mean, had an amazing game at Vanderbilt. I don't have my notes in front of me right now, but in fact, I'll find him here for you in 2 seconds. Just played an amazing game at Vandy a year ago, a career-high 442 yards of total offense, the most by an Auburn quarterback since 2014, and the third most in Auburn history. And against Alabama in the Iron Bowl last year, he threw for 259 and 108 and ran for 108 against the Crimson Tide last season. At Stanford, he threw the second longest pass in Stanford history, a 97-yard touchdown pass against Colorado. And so I would say the thing that Daniels has on Sperry is game experience. He's played it against Alabama. He's played against Vanderbilt. He's played in the Pac-12 and the Big 12. So he just has more experience than Kevin. Kevin is talented. Kevin has a bright future. And we've seen when he has had a shot that he's done some nice things around it. And no matter who is named the starter by Mike Norvell, the other guy's going to have to be ready, because rarely do you see a player. I mean, think about the last 3 seasons for Florida State football, 2023, 24, and 25. Florida State's had multiple quarterbacks had to start and play significant reps. So you just got to be ready to go, no matter who the starter is. And so Daniels is a veteran guy, but Sperry certainly is talented. And I'm really excited about the receiving core with Deuce Robinson and Mekhi Danzy returning. Hopefully Javen Boggs can stay healthy. I think he's an elite level young receiver. And Mike Norvell and Tim Harris, the offensive coordinator, have made mention of 2 freshmen that have had great springs, and Devin Carter and Jason Lopez. And you don't see a lot of freshmen play right away around here. And those 2 guys, Carter and Lopez, as much as we're hearing about them, feels like they've made an impact in spring and feels like they can round out a wide receiver rotation and do some nice things in the passing game. So offensively, with Mike Norvell back calling plays, I'm looking forward to seeing this team, continue that solid trend they were on at the start of the season a year ago. And I think defensively, guys, Tony White has better personnel to fit his scheme. And what I mean by that is I think Florida State has found longer, faster, more athletic guys along the edge to fit the type of defense that Tony White wants to run. Rylan Kennedy, the Texas A&M transfer, is a guy that jumps off the page at you. DeMonte Diggs is super athletic. He only played 3 games a year ago before a season-ending injury. The Desir twins return. Deontay McCray looks great. Kevin Wynn has a chance to do some really nice things as well along the interior. And so, up front and along the edge defensively, Daniel Lyons in the middle as well has played a ton of games. I feel like this team is better equipped to have success in this defense. Chris Jones, a Southern Miss transfer, I think has a chance to be a pro. You bring in Mekhi Bayer as well from Nebraska and Carolina, as with Tony White at Nebraska, an excellent linebacker. And then I'm not worried about the secondary. The secondary is just fine. Quindarius Jones and Jabril Rawls have a beat at corner. Nehemiah Chandler was brought in to provide that solid play. Charles Lester, we're looking for him to break out. KJ Kirkland's played a lot at safety. Ashlyn Barker may move around a little bit and play rover. Mekhi Jones, Carson Hobbs, CJ Richard are all transfers who have had a lot of success playing for very good teams. So secondary is going to be just fine. And so personnel-wise, I think this team, it has the right pieces. It's, I think, more of the mental side of it to have that confidence to fight through adversity when it will show up throughout the season.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I will say this, looking at Florida State's schedule this year, they do have week 0. They play New Mexico State, and then Labor Day night, ACC opener, prime time. I'm assuming it's going to be prime time against SMU. Then you return the home and home with Alabama. And then you face Central Arkansas, and then your second ACC game is versus Virginia. And we all know what happened last year in Charlottesville. So if Florida State can at least win 3 of those first 5 games, do you think they can find a way to get to a bowl game after everything that's happened the past couple of years?
Oh yeah, I expect this team to get to a bowl game, Adam, and so should they. I mean, that should be the low bar for the expectation of this team. The SMU game you talked about, that's a huge game. That's a big game on Monday, September 7th. That's a game at home. SMU is going to be, a team that's picked high in the preseason poll. Kevin Jennings is back at quarterback. that's a big one at home on Monday night under the lights. And so that's a huge early season game. Taking care of business at home is going to be critical for this team. Always is. And that's going to be key again with, you'll beat New Mexico State. You'll beat Central Arkansas, but Virginia, Clemson, NC State, and Florida, those are the 4 games that you got to take and take care of business with. And then, your road games, you got to find a way to go out there and overcome adversity and some tough crowds. And Alabama, Louisville on a Friday night, Miami on the road will be tough, obviously. Boston College at Pitt on a Friday night. So, and the other item, playing 3 Friday games this year also throws kind of a weird wrinkle into the schedule. So you got to take care of business at home, and you got to find a way to overcome some things on the road against some good teams. Louisville's a good team. The two Northeast games in November, I'm sure, will be a little bit chilly. You got to overcome the conditions, but this team has the talent to go out and be a squad that is, again, I really feel like contending in the league once again into the month of November.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, hopefully this is a better season for us and for you and everybody down there, because it's been tough the last couple of years. I've been looking a lot of old Florida State games, and I'm like, I remember the days when we blew people out. I remember those days. It's like we need to have those days again. Be where we were, years ago, and because we used to own the ACC.
We did.
We first came in this league. We dominated until some Virginia team beat us in '93 on I think Oregon got in. I'm sorry, that looked like he got in. Yeah, but back then they didn't have instant replay, so we didn't have the control. And I got to say, the ACC broadcast, I love it on ESPN, because if they have a call, they go into the command center, and I think that's a great thing that this league has. You can see what they do with all the plays they're doing. Yeah. And I think we learned a lot. And I think you too, Jeff, because when you do a broadcast, you're like, oh, yep, now I see what happened. So it's great. It's a great league. I love it. So Jeff, what are you doing for the rest of the spring and summer? Are you just going to have fun with the family and go on vacation and get yourself ready for big football? And
I wish, man. I wish I was on vacation for the next 4 months. No, I still got to work, guys, and do some things. But no, the work continues. We're getting through some of our spring sports stuff. Host a weekly podcast that it's on all streaming platforms for Florida State fans, the Seminole Sports Network podcast. And so telling the success stories of FSU athletics and connecting with our great fans around the state and around the region in the month of May as well. And gearing up for what's going to be another fun ride in 2026.
Yeah, I know that. Speaking of spring sports, the baseball team just got swept at Georgia Tech. The softball team just got swept on the farm at Stanford. I'm thinking, like, what the heck's going? I know how good of a. I know that Florida State. I mean, when I saw Florida State got swept at Georgia Tech, I was like, well, and we've lost to Florida in our rivalry series, and
God, you guys are killing me tonight. Just all the doom and gloom. Can we talk about the 25-game winning streak for softball, guys? I mean, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good too. Yeah,
25 wins in a row. That wasn't bad.
And what Isa Torres did, making history, I was like, heck
there
yeah,
you go.
let's go.
Now we're getting it out of.
Like,
now we're moving in the right
now.
direction.
I mean,
okay.
I know Florida State's, always up there when it comes,
Let's be happy. Let's tell some happy stories.
We're happy now because I feel good because I talked to you, Jeff. So I feel good for tomorrow.
Yeah. It's called anytime I talk to you, Jeff, it's like football season's around the corner, and it's like less than 150 days, and then come July, we'll all be in Charlotte at the ACC kickoff.
There you
go.
See
each other, and be like homecoming. So
that's right. I like it.
All right, Jeff. Enjoy the rest of your summer and spring, and we'll talk to you when we get the ACC kickoff in July. How about that?
Yes. Good to talk to you guys. Have a great night.
All right, buddy. See you, dude.
Thanks,
back.
Jeff.
That's our good friend Jeff Culhane, who it's funny. I met that guy a long time ago at North Dakota State.
Yeah, and it's like,
and it's fascinating. And when he took over for our good friend Gene Deckerhoff, I saw the text message. I saw the Facebook, the Twitter, thing, and I sent him a text message like, "Welcome to the family, sir." And he goes, he's like, "Cool, dude." I was like, "Yeah," because he doesn't realize that yes, we have our own podcast, but we Florida State fans since we're kids growing up. Yeah. And I remember the days of Charllie Ward and the doke at the choke, choke at the doke, and all those classic games we had against Florida. And
it's like, I mean, it's like I've never gotten a chance to talk to Gene Deckerhoff, but it's like I tell people, it's like, you're a Florida State fan. Yeah, and I also know the voice of the Knowles too.
Yeah, it's I talked to Gene so many times. I saw him down there, and he was such the nicest guy.
Oh yeah, because he always been nice. It's called I look forward. It's called. He'll probably.
Yeah, we saw each other in Notre Dame. When I talked to him at Notre Dame, I talked to him at the ACC. I first saw him the first time ever down at the ACC kickoff. Mm-hmm. And our good friend Bud, who's out there.
Alderman, we'll see him in July. I can't.
Yeah, hi Bud, if you're watching.
Hi Bud.
We'll talk to you soon. We'll get him on before the ACC kickoff.
Of course.
Bud telling us stories about him being Bobby Bowden's driver, in the Music City Bowl. I mean, those are great stories.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when Bobby passed away, I did a little show with with Bud and a couple of the former Florida State players, and I had the chance to almost meet Bobby Bowden, but he got sick the week of the ACC Legend thing down at the ACC championship game, and I had him already circled to sit down and have a conversation with him. And
that would have been like, what the heck?
And thank him for being to making little Chris happy.
Yeah, and it's like I tell, and it's like
those games of me watching, us beating Miami and beating the Gators,
us beating North Carolina and Miami. I mean, it's like 93. I was like, I mean, it's like, dudes, and it's like
I still remember me sleeping in my parents' house, and I woke up at 2 a.m. and hearing the CBS radio update, and the guy going, Florida State wins on a last-minute field goal to win their first national title.
Those are the good old days, Chris.
And I couldn't fall back to sleep because I was so excited.
Oh yeah.
And then my brother gave me this for Christmas, and
there you go. Oh yeah, that's Renegade.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, you gave me Renegade. And you realize, Renegade right now has a broken leg because he fell.
Oh, it's called Chris fix him.
He's on the 15-day DL. But
yeah, okay. Now that gets me ready for football season. Chris, I love it.
So, but I used to torture him all the time with this mascot. And I have him in the corner of my office here, seeing him every day, and that's what Florida State football is to me.
And it's like,
and people ask me how I became a Florida State football fan, because when I was a kid growing up, the games were on that static TV, the USF.
Oh yeah.
And then we had the Blockbuster Bowl between Joe Paterno and Florida State, and the Florida State quarterback Casey Weldon reminded me of Joe Montana, because Montana's face looked like a little baby face in his helmet, and Casey Weldon looked like Montana. So, and then also my mom said, I asked my mother one time, I said, when did they start changing, my room? And she goes, well, you went from white room to like almost like a yellow type gold paint because you just started loving Florida State. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like,
and I tell my brother Will was a Hurricane fan just to tick him off.
Well, first it's called. People ask me, Adam, why are you a Florida Seminoles fan? Because I was in love with Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
The way he coached. The way he coaches players on and off the field. I mean, it's like.
And I missed when he resigned, and some guy named Jimmo Fisher came in.
Yeah.
I didn't like Jimmo Fisher because I didn't know who the heck he was.
Well, Chris, now we know who he is.
Until this guy named Derek Brooks sent me a video, because my ex-girlfriend, who we don't talk about, sent me a video. And Derek Brooks looked at me and said in the video, Chris, Jimbo is going to be great. Okay? Trust him. Trust him.
Well, Chris, we trust him.
And then we got to give props to Dia Torre, because I had the boat already sailed on Mike Novell since day one. I didn't know who the heck this guy was and what the heck are you doing in my program.
Well, now we know what he's doing.
And I got to give Dan Torre credit. If you're watching out there, you told me to trust the process.
Yeah.
And if Dan's listening to us, I actually did trust his process.
I believe it, Chris.
And I was very happy in 2023 when we won the ACC title, because you had a chance to see your team win a title in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a chance to see it for a third time. And I know the first time when I saw they win an ACC title, I cried like a baby. I had to get off the field because, I was crying like a baby because that's my team. I saw my team on the field as a media person win a title. Yeah.
Same thing for me. I was like, no, I'll never forget. Chris, I'll never forget meeting Charllie Ward. I was like, Heisman Trophy. I was like.
Speaking of Charllie Ward, I know this gentleman wants to get Morgan State the great news.
Oh yeah, he wants
his track record.
Bears to be good in the MEAC this season.
Yeah, well, I know his track record since the days of him and I were doing Bowie State football. He called me to do his broadcast. It's on the road, and I know there wasn't a great season, Coach, but I totally enjoyed that road trip with you guys for that whole year, going to different places. Like, I'd never been back to Worcester, Massachusetts, but I know where Assumption University is, because I hear it all the time now. I go, oh, I know where that is. But
it's not Worcester, it's Worcester.
Anyway, but
it's kind of
I enjoyed that year, but I'm glad you're here at Morgan State. So, Coach, how's spring practice going? I know you guys have your spring game coming up on Thursday night. Why is it Thursday night? Because normally people do it on the weekends. I guess you want to do it on a Thursday to get people away from Oriole baseball, probably.
No, we wanted to get the students on campus involved, give them something to participate in on a Thursday night. And we also have our legacy track meet this weekend. So it kind of goes hand in hand. We can kill two birds with one stone, have a successful track event, but also get the student body something to do on a Thursday night.
Nice. That's awesome. So talk about your practices. Who's the quarterback? Because I was doing some research yesterday. Is there like a quarterback competition, or is there like a lot of people you picked up in the transfer portal to try to help you get that offense you had successfully down in Bowie?
Yes, we did pick up 2 transfer quarterbacks this January. So we do have a competition going on with Cam Edge, young man that was at the University of Maryland and Eastern Michigan. Then he came back. He transferred to us in January. And a day is a transfer from Wheeling, and so those guys are the new faces in the room. And Raiden Oliver is a young man that we had transferring last fall from Rutgers University. So they're competing, and we still have Todd Smith on the roster as well, who's still recovering and giving himself an opportunity to play.
Yeah. So what does these practices mean for you guys? Because it's spring football. I know you play against Blues versus Orange, and you see the same players. You don't hit a different team until the regular season starts. But, what do you see these last 15 practices? Do you feel like you guys could make a real splash in the MEAC? Because I know Coach Scott from Howard is gone. He went to Auburn. So basically now I think it's your conference to win.
I think we're definitely going to have an opportunity to do just that. But these spring practices are very important with regards to evaluating the new guys. With the new landscape of college athletics, you might be bringing in 40 to 50 new guys every spring. So try to get those guys in jail as quick as possible, implement your systems and that sort of thing. So I think we've done a good job with that. But winter workouts as well as spring practice to date, we have 2 more practices to go. But I'm really excited about what they've done, what we've done thus far. And we also have some new guys coming in this summer that we have to get them caught up with the guys that's already there.
Yeah, I was looking at your schedule for this year. I got to say, Tempe, Arizona sounds pretty good in early September. You know,
Yeah.
it's not hot. You know, not like March when they had 100, 105 down there. You know, in this past March, but it's September, and Arizona State is pretty good in the Big 12. Used to be the old Pac-12. So, and they're 2 years removed from the Big 12 championship game that they had. That guy from the Giants who hurt himself last year, Stambo, whatever his name was. But with that big game against a Power 5 team, you know, that might be something that you guys can work on to help you get through that MEAC schedule.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think our non-conference game, and we opened up with North Carolina A&T, and that's going to be a well-attended game. And that's going to be a game that's going to definitely be challenging for us. So that game, then that'll prepare us for the Arizona State game, and then we'll start up with I think with Lynchburg and Towson after that. But our non-conference schedule, yes, I think it will prepare us for MEAC play, a very tough conference. And we must, come out fast, do a good job early in the non-conference games to build up some momentum for when conference play.
And I know North Carolina A&T is in the CAA, and I know they struggled last year. They have a new coach, but it's still almost like a rivalry game because they used to be in your conference before they moved to the CAA.
That's right. And I mean, a very good football program, traditionally. And last year, like you said, they had coaching change, and coach has those guys going now. He brought some really good football players in there, whether it was transfer portal guys or high school guys. He has a lot of guys returning in his program. So once again, it's going to be a challenge, but we just have to focus on getting better each day and doing the things that we need to do to be successful, and everything else to take care of itself.
Yeah. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah. First of all, Chris, you took my question about the game in Tempe, but that's okay.
Buddy.
But I was looking at your schedule as well, and homecoming versus Robert Morris University out of the Northeast Conference. From what I saw last year, I think they're a really good team. So just talk about facing a good Northeast Conference team in Robert Morris on homecoming.
Yeah, I think a number of teams that we have on our schedule are very good football teams. And one thing that we're going to do a better job of just focusing on ourselves. Once again, just executing our assignments, and that'll give us an opportunity to beat anybody that's on the schedule. We had a number of self-inflicted, whether it was penalties or plays last year that that record could have been totally flipped. That we finished games a little better and did things a certain way in certain situations. So we're just spending time focusing on us, still dealing with a lot of situational football to give us an opportunity to be successful. At homecoming is going to be a well-attended event. Alums come out and support the program. And so we're looking forward to that. But we have a number of games to go before we get to homecoming.
Yeah, and I want to talk about I always see the coaches caravan, going to different cities across your region. What does that mean for you, as a coach, going to these different cities and talking about Morgan State football?
I think it's big. It's something our athletic director, Ms. Dina Patton Freeman, that she wanted to do this summer. And, I say yes with open arms, because it gives us an opportunity to kind of meet our alums where they are. Typically they're coming to campus and see us in our environments, whether it's on the football field or the basketball court. But as a coach, we don't have a lot of time to spend with those alums because we're competing that particular day. So opportunities like this gives us an opportunity to, yes, talk about our programs, yes, try to raise some funds for our programs, but more importantly, meet people that walk the hallways of Morgan State. And I think that's really important because in order to know, to get to where you're going, you got to know where you come from. And I think to hear from the alums and share some stories, I think that'll help the overall program as well as raise some money for the program.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You go from, you go all the way up to New Jersey, and then you go to, then you're in Baltimore, and you do stuff in College Park a little bit. You try to spread what Morgan State football is for people who are kids in high school who are looking for a place to play football. Say, hey, I could go to Morgan State and play for a very good coach. And I know you are a very good coach. I know you for a very long time. And I'm proud of what you've been doing, and hopefully we could get Morgan State to be good in football, and maybe that could carry over down to the basketball level too.
Indeed, I know we all try to support one another, and we understand as a football program, we are the face of the university. We have an opportunity to kind of start the athletic season off in the fall, and so we definitely want to start off fast and open, get off to a right start for the sports that come out in the winter and the spring. So definitely, we understand our position, and we definitely want to do the right thing to open up the doors for the rest of the programs behind us.
Nice.
Adam, you have one more question?
Yeah. So, the state of the MEAC this year, it looks like it could be a wide open field. So, just talk about the strengths of the MEAC this upcoming season.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you got to respect the team like South Carolina State. Their team that's won the championship 2 years in a row. They have some new faces in their program, North Carolina Central and Howard University and Norfolk State and Dale State. Everybody's competing. Everybody's getting better. There's no easy win in the MEAC. We do have a new coach, as you mentioned, Coach Scott taking the job at Auburn and bringing in Ted White at Howard. So, Ted is going to have those guys ready to roll. He and I had an opportunity to coach together before, so I'm very familiar with him and what he's about. But South Carolina State right now is the big dog in the conference. I mean, anytime I think they have not lost a conference game in 2 years, and Coach Berry has done an outstanding job, taking over the program. So, we understand the challenge ahead of us, but once again, we're just going to constantly focus on us. And if we do those things, we're going to be in great shape, because I really like what our coaches have done in recruiting, and I like what our players have done thus far with our winter conditioning and spring ball.
That's cool.
Nice.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy the spring game on Thursday, and we'll talk to you when we do our ACC kickoff in July and August, and by then football will be around the corner, and I guess that's when you feel like it's Christmas for you.
Yes, sir, Chris. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon,
Thanks,
buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you.
All right.
Bye. That's Coach Wilson from Morgan State. They doing their spring game. I do have a polling question, that we have this new app here on the StreamYard people. We did have Florida State on.
We did.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to get rid of one of them here. All right. So do you think Florida State will have a winning record in 2026? So you could vote now, yes or no. And I think you could do it. I think you just click on it, folks, and we'll see if anybody tune into it at the end. So you can vote now right here, yes or no. Before we bring our next guest in, before we do that, go to our YouTube page, and you see this little button here.
Yeah, click subscribe.
We would love to have you. Part of our
and as all of you know, next week I'm going to be in Akron, Ohio for the Tournament of Champions. I will be getting exclusive video from qualifying, from match play. I'll see if I can get some interviews with some of the stars in the CW, some of the bowlers that have won this year. But speaking of bowling, folks, have you been watching the PBA Tour and the CW this year? Because it's been record-breaking. If you watch the Surfside PBA Tour New York Classic on Sunday, then you saw our next guest. He and Austin Grammer, who we're going to have on the show a little later, our next guest bowled against Chris Prather. And it's not the way that he wanted his TV debut to go, but if you don't know, I guess if you don't know the name Riley Woodard, then you do now. So joining us now to talk about his TV debut is Riley Woodard. So Riley, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and just talk about your TV debut against a really good bowler in Chris Prather.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It was super cool TV. It was something that, I've been looking forward to forever. That's the dream. It was super cool to see behind the scenes, see how everything works, and be back there, bowl against some of the best. Chris Prather is one of the best ever. Super cool. I was ecstatic.
Yeah. So talk about being on television. Did you have a lot of nerves? Because I know we your first time on TV, and you got people watching you, and you got
Right.
your family watching you, and you're like, okay, I'm on television. I guess everybody else is watching me. So
Yeah.
yeah. Did you get a lot of people texting you later going, Riley, you're bowling too quickly, or were you nervous, or what was the response after you finished fourth? Because I know that's what you didn't want to finish fourth, but you got a decent payday.
For sure.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a great day of work. I wish
Yeah.
I could do that.
No, for sure. There was 100% some nerves. Everybody told me they're like you're not going to be able to feel your legs early on, and they were right. And I feel like I settled in a little bit, and then after the first couple shots, and then the commercial break is something that you've never experienced before until you get there, and so that was something new as well. And coming out of the commercial break was a little rough, and yeah, there was nerves for sure. It settled in, and I got some legs under me after a couple shots, but it was definitely very new.
Yeah. So we're gonna have the Shark on later. What was it like bowling against him? Because he seems like he's a quiet, one of the sneaky guys. He doesn't really talk that much during the week, and he shows on TV, and he just lets his ball do the talking. What was it like bowling against some of the people that you saw a lot on television when you were watching?
Super cool. It just like you said, it's people that I watched when I was a kid too. Like I've been a pretty big bowling nerd my whole life, and I watched the telecast, and so it was cool for that as well.
Yeah.
Just to bowl against guys that you've seen. But bowling him, I bowled Chris Vi earlier on in the bracket to make the show, and you just know that they're probably not going to miss. They're not going to give you openings. You got to do the hard work and give it to them. But yeah, Prather is a great bowler. He doesn't talk a lot, like you said, but he definitely doesn't have a lack of confidence. I made a joke to him when we were on the warm-up pair that only 4 of us get to warm up, and he doesn't get warm-ups that day. And he said, "That's okay. I don't need it." And he didn't need it. He meant that. I thought he was going to be real tough to beat once he had both lanes figured out. And I thought it was going to be hard for Austin to come in just one match and put up against that. But Austin did an amazing job. I was pulling for the 300. That would have been something else.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was busy doing errands, and I heard about it later, and I was watching it. I'm like, $2.99. I was like, that was another 300 game like on TV, and we just had one earlier this year, the first telecast on CW. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
okay, if 2 rookies bowl a perfect game on TV in a single match, in a title match,
that would have been just crazy. Yeah,
that'd be crazy because I know Brendan was one of the first bowlers since Bob Benoit to do it. A 3 game in 1988, and way before you were born. But
way before, yeah.
And Adam and I are old school bowlers, but we grew up with the ABC's Professional Bowlers Tournament, and when that kid bowled a perfect game, I'm thinking, hey, he just did a Bob Benoit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, Bob was the one who did that, and it was a running joke that Chris Schenkel, who used to be the host of the show back in the 80s, always missed a 300 game on TV because he was doing something for Wide World of Sports. So the joke was he finally got one, and then he got one in '87, and he got one a year later, and he goes, "Wow, I'm good for after 2 straight years, 300 games on TV." So it's great for Rick Allen to have his first ever broadcast with a 300 game.
Oh, 100%. I think I was talking to the commissioner. Obviously, everybody was there, and I was just standing in the background on the sidelines, kind of behind the reps, and I was like, "Man, another 300! This is just great TV." It ended up being $2.99, but
right.
That's great TV and great storytelling. The 3rd rookie this year to win, so
crazy.
Cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I have never seen like we normally get 1 rookie that wins the title,
right.
during the, or maybe 2, later in the year, but 3 in one year and not even done the CW. That's pretty good, and you still got the rest of the tour, and you got the World Championship of Bowling, and you got CBS's broadcast coming up later in the year too. So that's going to be amazing. That's going to be maybe more 300 games.
And there could be more rookies too. This rookie class is something else with all the other guys too. Julian Salinas is a rookie this year. CJ Peterson is a rookie this year. There's, I mean, so many talented bowlers.
Why
I will say this right. Since you're from Utah, I know you're wearing a Utah Mammoth hat, so I see that, and I know I live in North Carolina, so obviously I'm a Carolina Hurricane fan.
Yeah.
And we won against you guys on Saturday. So, but growing up, how did you get started in the world of bowling? When you were a little kid.
In the world of bowling?
Yeah.
So my family actually owns a bowling center. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
And they've owned it my whole life. We actually had a second bowling center when I was born, but I was pretty young. I think they sold that one when I was 2 or 3. But this one had been here my whole life. So I was all but raised in this building. And so that's how. I mean, my whole life. My grandpa actually way back in the day bowled a couple U.S. Opens, and he tied like a 4-game world record at 11:15. Back then. So we have like some newspaper cutouts of my grandpa tying that record and stuff like that. And so bowling's just always been in my family. I've been raised in the center, watched it as a kid, everything like that. So
Nice. So you're like an EJ Tackett, pretty much.
It feels like everybody out there, man. Yeah. EJ, Belmo, we all kind of grew up in one.
Yeah. So what's the story what is the rest for you for the rest of the year? I know you're not bowling. Are you bowling in the doubles up there in Portland or no?
No. So I wasn't obviously in the top 32 being a rookie and not exempt for the year. So I wasn't in the top 32 in points and didn't really have a whole lot going for my year up until the Masters and now this. So and a lot of those guys already have the doubles partners picked as well. So didn't get on any teams for the doubles. And then I don't have a title, so the TOC is a no-go as of right now. But then hopefully back out there for the World Series and then the Duke after that. And I'm going to try to make my way to Sweden for the Lucky Larson this year. I'd really like to go bowl that. I love to travel overseas especially, so any excuse to do that would be great.
That's cool. Well, I thought they had like for the tournament champions. I thought they had like a squad that people could make it. Or
they do have a PTQ for the TOC, but you need to have a regional title just to go to PTQ. So you still have to. That way, it's still a champion type thing.
Okay.
And I don't have any regional titles, so I'm bowling regional this weekend. And if I were to win that, theoretically, I will fly from there to the TOC.
Okay. So where's the regional this weekend for you?
Arlington, Washington.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So way up in the Northwest, and then if I happen to win that, I'll catch a flight over.
Okay. So if you bowled well last week on television, so that could probably help you.
Some momentum. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing here too.
Yeah.
Maybe you could win one, and then Adam could see you, next week in Akron.
That's what I'm like. Yeah. That's the hope.
Yeah. But you got a great season. You can't. This is your first year on tour. You made it on TV. A lot of people in their first year don't make it. On TV. I know somebody named Pete Weber didn't make it. I think he made it his first year on TV, but didn't win anything until year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
the goal this year was just get into the top 75 in points and try to get an exemption. So no more PTQs, and I can be able to bowl everything next year. So as of right now, we're up into the top 75 and hopefully holding on to that. So
yeah. So what was it like bowling in New York, in Rochester? Because I'm from Long Island, New York. So I went to Rochester once to see what it looks like for an indoor football game, and it was okay. Yeah. Nice area, but what was it like bowling in Rochester? Were the fans like great? Were they cool?
All the people were amazing. I would say we never really got to like traveling around the city that much. Like we didn't really go visit downtown or anything. It was a whole lot of just the bowl, go get food, go back to the Airbnb type thing. But as far as the people back there, there was a couple that had been following me all week that were there at the show, and there was a couple that were back there just cheering me on the whole time. So the people were amazing. No complaints there at all. The bowl was great. The staff was great. Everything was there went well.
Nice. I think Adam's coming back on here. He had internet issues. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, bud.
So Riley, I know you were talking about, if you win this weekend, you could have a shot to go to the TOC. So growing up, did you ever watch the Tournament of Champions and say, one day, I hopefully will get there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I watched them all, but yeah, obviously the Tournament of Champions is quite the exclusive one. It's very, very high up, just being that the field is full of champions, and so that is one that everybody wants to be a part of someday.
Yeah, well, I can say, if you were to win your regional and you go to the TLC next week, you could potentially see me, because I am going to the TLC next week. I fly out Wednesday and I'll be there Wednesday night through the TV broadcast on Sunday. So, who are some of your favorite bowlers growing up that you really enjoyed watching?
Really all of them. Norm Duke, Wes Malott. I got a lesson one time in Reno during the World Series, and I remember Wes Malott walking in and talking to Mike Jasnow during my lesson, and
Yes.
Super cool guy, very personable, and so I was always rooting for him. Obviously, everybody loves Norm Duke. And as I got older, once the YouTube era kind of started, Brad and Kyle, Chris Prather, a lot of guys. I've watched a lot of videos of Kyle throwing the ball and Chris Prather throwing the ball and tried to mimic certain things after them. So, yeah, to be able to bowl Chris now on TV and stuff like that is super cool.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to meet Norm Duke several times when I've gone to the PBA League in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like growing up, I used to live in New Hampshire and I would watch the PBA Tour all the time on ABC Sports, and it's like I never thought I would, meet all the stars I have. It's like I've met Mark Roth, who the doubles is named after. I've met Marshall Holman. We've Norm Duke, Walter Ray Williams Jr., EJ Tackett, and
I think that's one of the really cool things about our sport is it's the professionals are a lot more accessible.
Oh, they are.
Just barely making the show, like the fans are right there. It's kind of like everybody has courtside tickets or close to. There's only 5-6 rows. So everybody's there, and afterwards they all line up and we sign autographs and take pictures. And I think it's very cool about our sport is we're not quite superstars, and so a lot of the guys are more accessible. You get to meet them, maybe have some real conversations with a lot of them, and I think that's a big plus about bowling.
I mean, I can say this, Riley. I mentioned EJ Tackett. I actually work at a grocery store here in North Carolina, and Chris knows this story. The grocery store that I used to work at, EJ and Natalie Tackett were on their way to a clinic in Atlanta, and they stopped to where I work. Fast forward 7 years later, I'm now working at another grocery store. And a couple of years ago, EJ Tackett and Natalie Tackett and their son Tripp, they came to where I currently work, and it was out of the blue. I was like, what's going on? And Chris, when I told you, I was like, what the heck?
I was like,
yeah. And it's like, I mean, it's like, I can say this. I've gone in the TRC when I was in Indianapolis. I've gone in the PBA League in Portland, Maine. I've gone in Jupiter, Florida. And it's like, I never thought I'd do all this now. And it's like, but I'm going to the TLC next week.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, hopefully you can win your regional this weekend. And then
I would love to be there with you. I would love to be there with you.
If you do, it's called I'll go ahead and shake your hand, and we'll take a picture together. And,
that'd be great.
And you can enjoy and you can enjoy Akron. A lot of good places to eat. I will say that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
Riley.
that's the goal. So
Nice,
All right, buddy.
nice.
I appreciate you joining us tonight, and keep us updated on this weekend's regional. We'll be pulling for you. Okay.
sounds
Yes,
good.
we
Thank
will.
you guys. Appreciate y'all
All right,
having
buddy.
me.
Talk to you later, dude. See
Thank
ya.
you.
Thanks, brother.
All right, that's Riley Woodward, who won. He came in fourth, but he won
He came in fourth, yes.
his first time on TV. So he's a winner being on television for the first time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
You want to bring this next guest in, Adam? It's the we're talking about the Yankees and the.
Oh, of course. Well, folks, speaking of the New York Yankees, if you know the history of the Yankees, there's a book now that has come out talking about the legendary owners, the Steinbrenners. And joining us on the phone is the gentleman who wrote this book, legendary guy from the New York Post, Mike Vaccaro is joining us. So thanks for coming on with us tonight, Mike, and just talk about how you got the inspiration to write this really cool book about the Steinbrenner family.
Well, I talked to a lot of younger generation Yankee fans, and a lot of them have no idea who George Steinbrenner was. At least they don't have an idea who he was when he was fully empowered in the 70s and the 80s, when he was the most flamboyant, the most over-the-top, the most larger-than-life owner in all sports.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to introduce that version of George, not just to the younger generation, but also to some, older generation people who just might have forgotten that that's what he was, and that's what he was, and that's how he ruled the roost of baseball for so many years.
Yeah, I know about Steinbrenner because I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I'm a Met fan, but I know all about the Yankee history, and he turned the Yankees around because at the time when the Yankees were still owned by CBS Network or the CBS Corporation, the Yankees were in shambles, and he bought the Yankees with an owner group in 1973, and he got the stadium and a parking lot along with it. So that was pretty cool. And he turned the organization around because at that time the Yankees were struggling. They just got they had their bad years from 67 to 72, 73, and then everything got better around 76, 77 when they made it to the World Series. They won it in 77 and 78 because of some guy named Reggie Jackson. What's it like writing this book about about George Steinbrenner and then about his family, Hank and the other guy? All the Steinbrenners basically run the whole organization.
Yeah, it's a family operation, that's for sure. It's kind of becoming an endangered species because in baseball, especially, corporations kind of rule the roost now. And it's funny. The Yankees were bought from a corporation in 1973, ironically enough. And that seems to be the way baseball is going now with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays and so many other of these monolithic corporations kind of creeping into the ownership groups. So the Steinbrenners are kind of an anomaly right now as an independent family owning baseball. And so they intend to stay in it for as long as they can. It's going to be interesting to see what the economics of baseball allow.
Mm-hmm. So just how many years did you work on this book? Was it like a good couple years? How did you get how did you do all the research? Because I know everybody knows about the Yankees. How did you do all? Because we know some writers who wrote some great books over the years. We've been on our program. How did you start? Getting all the? Did you meet this one person and all of a sudden start a domino effect that you go, hey, I got this guy and this guy helped me get to this person? It's basically somebody to help you get this book ready.
Well, I had a good head start because I've been covering the Yankees pretty much for the last 30 years.
Okay.
And so that involved the last 12 years of Steinbrenner's life. I got to know Steinbrenner pretty well. I mean, he and I had a good relationship. I kind of came along after the pugnacious George was kind of quieted down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had a pretty good relationship with him. So, a lot of it is stuff that I was around and reported myself. Look, I mean, we live in a world now where archives are at your fingertips. And what used to mean, a month of visits to the New York Public Library to their microfilm room, now you can do thanks to going on newspapers.com or various archive services. So that was helpful. And I spoke to a lot of people on background because I'd heard a lot of stories and was repeating some stories people knew. but I wanted to just kind of use them anonymously to just let you know that this is how things are going. This is how things went. Make sure I'm not wrong on this. And almost 99% of the stories, I mean, people were like, no, I want like that. And in fact, here's this. And the fact that I gave him kind of cover just to be able to talk, because a lot of these people are still very loyal to George. George is a very loyal guy. And it wasn't stories designed to necessarily embarrass George, just to kind of illustrate what kind of a unique, crazy time it was to follow the Yankees in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, I just got done watching the Peacock. They had a Bronx 1990 on there, how bad that team was in 1990, how they had Mel Hall, who basically is right now in jail for something he did. And, it was literally, but the way they did in the 90s, that team actually helped the Yankees win the pennant and the World Series later in the decade because they got all the draft picks they needed.
Right, and Bernie Williams kind of broke into that team, so he kind of got his feet wet. And because of those bad teams, you're able to pick somebody like Derek Jeter high in the draft. And because George Steinbrenner was out of baseball because of his second suspension, Stick Michael was allowed to kind of keep his young players intact. And those players, by the time George got back from suspension, were ready to start winning. Right.
That's cool. I want to say congratulations. You got the bestseller in the New York Times for this book. What's it like having a bestseller, for people, people like me? I'm not going to write a book because I can't write really good anyway. But for you being a writer, that's pretty cool.
It is. Look, I mean, it's a dream come true. I'm happy that people have been able to read it. I'm happy that, you put this much time into the book. And you asked earlier how long it was. Really, from start to finish, it was about 2 years. About a year of researching and writing, and then kind of going back and rewriting and getting and editing it and getting ready to be presentable. When you put that much effort and work into it, you want people to read it. And so I'm grateful that their reaction has been pretty favorable.
Yeah, I'm like one of these people. I like reading about baseball history. And so when I saw that on Facebook that you have this book, I'm thinking, that'd be good to talk to you because I love hearing the history of the game. I know about the Yankees because of all the stuff I grew up listening to, and the Yankees, how they were dominant in my era, late 90s, early 2000s, and all that stuff. But listening to you writing about back in the day when my dad watched the Yankees in the 70s when they were fighting for the Mets, because the Mets were doing pretty well at that time. The Mets just got off the World Series in '73, so they were basically the toast of New York City until the Yankees took it over.
It was. I mean, the Mets were the dominant team when George became the owner by a wide margin. I mean, they outdrew him 2.5 to 1. They were a lot more popular radio, TV team. They were more successful for sure. And George promised on the day he bought the team that the Yankees would be competitive again in 3 years. And sure enough, 3 years later, they were in the 1976 World Series. A year after that, they won it. And by '78, they were back-to-back champions. So he was able to kind of hit the ground running pretty quickly after he bought the team.
That's cool. Well, Mike, I know you're a busy guy.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Adam, real quick.
Yeah. So, talking about the Steinbrenners, I know they got into the world of auto racing after their deal with the Yankees. So, do you talk about their time in the world of auto racing in your book?
I don't. I make this point in the book is that it's not a biography.
Okay.
If you want a full-blown biography, Bill Madden wrote a great one in 2010. Dick Shep wrote one a couple of years before that.
Right.
This is more just a slice of life with the Yankees. So.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
About his involvement with the USOC, but only peripherally, and really.
Okay.
It's about the Steinbrenner family and the Yankees.
That's cool.
Thank you.
All right. So, Adam, Mike, thanks so much for joining us, folks. If you want to go on Amazon, you can find it, The Bosses of the Bronx, the endless drama of the Yankees under the House of Steinbrenner. You can buy it on Amazon. You can listen to it on Audible. So, Mike, thank you so much. Keep up the good work. And I saw your Facebook message this morning. It was pretty cool that you woke up this morning seeing one of your articles when you had breakfast. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Hard to believe, right? Yeah, it's a great paper that I work for, great sports section, and I'm very fortunate to get a chance to write this book, of course. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I always love spreading the word about the book, and it's been great talking to you.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. We'll keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Much.
All right, see you. Bye. All right, that's guy from Nassau County. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I know Nassau County, Chris.
Yes, Nassau County. We don't like Suffolk County. That's what my dad says. You know.
I know Nassau County on Long Island. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Mike Barzero, who is from the columnist from the New York Post. The
Yes.
book is again called "The Bosses of the Bronx: The Endless Drama of the Yankees Under the House of Steinbrenner." I know a lot of people here in Baltimore don't like the Yankees, but they may want to read this book because you can understand how the Yankees and Orioles didn't like each other. In the late '70s and early '80s, they had
Thank you.
and they still have battles.
No, Chris. It's not just the Orioles. You think
Yeah.
about the rivalry with the Red Sox.
Right, exactly. Before we get Charlie Mitchell on, I got to show you. I found this on your YouTube page. I want to give you folks the sounds of Bayside Bowl.
Yeah, go for it, Chris.
And let me get Charlie Mitchell on. So hold on 1 second, okay?
Go for it.
All right, Adam. So there, folks, that's the sights and sounds from what Adam did a couple of years ago.
Oh, don't remind me. I wish I was there this weekend. But
Yes. So we're trying to get the owner of Bayside Bowl, Charlie Mitchell, to join us. He's finishing up his league tonight, so that's why he's on his way to try to give us a call. Now we'll try to get on
next week.
Yeah.
I will say this. It is so cool to see the PBA Tour back at Bayside Bowl after a 1-year hiatus. I understand they couldn't do it last year because of the Fox contract, but all I know is this: the beer will be on tap. The food is always amazing, and folks, the atmosphere at Bayside. Think of your favorite atmosphere at a college football game, college basketball game, etc. And it's like that. I mean, I've had the privilege, as y'all know, of going up there several times. I've got some really great friends up there. They know I'll get up there again 1 year, and and you can watch the Owens Craft Mixers PBA Roth Holman Double Championship Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on the CW with Rick Allen, Kyle Sherman, and Taryn Hatcher. So
So speaking of Bayside Bowl and the PBA, we watched the end of the Born the Bowl last night on.
I thought I was gonna be on there, but
things by then because during that whole broadcast, we found out Randy and Kimberly weren't going to be on this new network.
Yeah,
because they were. It was It was the last broadcast on the Fox, and Randy was in tears, literally.
Randy was in tears.
And Kimberly was like 15 years talking about her your years been on TV. And I turned to Nicole and said, so now we understand the puzzle that came up.
Yes. Yeah. So
they already knew this time last year that they weren't coming back at all.
Yeah. I was like,
and it was a well kept secret, because I got to give Tom Clark credit here.
You and me both. I was like,
a lot. That was hard to keep a secret throughout the whole.
You think? I was like, I mean, I have to realize last year when I went to the TLC, it was the last ever time that the PBH Tour would be on Fox.
Right.
I will say this. It's been nice to see Randy in doing Bowl TV.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he is going to be in Akron at the Tournament of Champions next week, so I look forward to catching up with him there. He's done.
Yeah, talk to him if he's willing to do an interview with you, and we'll put him on the program, because I emailed.
Yeah, well, he knows us. Yeah, so it's like I'm gonna try my hardest, to get interviews with Rick Allen, Kyle Sherman, and Taryn Hatcher. I mean, I will say this: those three, Kyle knows about the PBA Tour because he bowls it.
Mm-hmm.
Rick and Taryn coming into this.
And I think Rick's doing a better job than first week on bowling, because
I think he's done an incredible job too. I have a lot. I mean, I know it's not easy. Yeah, and it's
my opinion was he was coming into something brand new.
Well, yeah.
And when we had Kyle until Kyle was named 2 weeks before the first broadcast.
Sure.
And I was opponent to Lucas Wiseman. I said to him, like, why couldn't they just do a regional tour on Bowl TV to get themselves used to who they are, and make that like a minor league stop for them, like a rehab,
Yeah.
Because I felt like the first broadcast they were like fish out of water because they didn't know who they were.
Yeah, and but as they've come along, I think I know it's not Rick Allen.
It's not easy to do the PBA.
Well,
you gotta get your hats off to our friend Dave Ryan, who does it. We're gonna see him up there in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
Our friend Dave Vermont does it too on Bowl TV. Used to do a lot on Fox as well.
Yes.
It's hard for those broadcasters to fly in on a Friday night, get their hotel, go have meetings with the top 5 who just got done Friday evening, so they have all day Saturday to meet them and talk to them and get used to who they are, and this might be one day we might do this. We might do a segment on this program. I want to get Dave Vermont on and Dave Ryan and Rick Allen if they're available, and ask them what is their preparation to do for a broadcast, because people
I would love to hear that too. Yeah.
Because I'd like to see what they do. We know about Rob Stone. We know him as really well. He did this. He's doing really well on Fox with the. We'll get him on during the NFL. The college football season.
Of course we will. Yeah.
Loves us. I mean, he knows who we are. And he looked at me. I saw him in Michigan for the Maryland-Michigan game. He said to me, he goes, "Chris, I really enjoy being on your program. You do a great job." And thank you. I appreciate that. And it makes me feel just really special that these people are national media people.
And they know who we are, and we're regional.
And we love the sport. And tonight we're going to have the Shark. We're going to have Bill O'Neill coming on at 9:15. We're hoping to get Justin Knowles on. I sent him a message about it.
9:4 and at 9:45, we're going to have the winner of the Surfside New York Classic, Austin Grammer. I mean, it's like, And I will say, regarding the PBA Tour, I kind of like their pregame show. I mean, it's like it gets me ready for the telecast on the CW. Rick Allen and Kyle Sherman are interviewing. Interviewing everyone, and And for you folks who don't know about Taryn Hatcher, do you know what she did, Chris, before she do you know what Taryn did before?
Yeah, she covered the Fighting Phils.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, so
like,
right now she's negative in my category because we don't like the Phillies here.
Yeah, well, I understand.
Hey, be nice to her when you see her next week. Just look at her.
Chris,
by the way, I'm Atlanta Braves. Speaking of the Braves, I have something special for you because we're still waiting for Charllie. I think he's finishing up his bowling, or we'll get him. We'll get him on another time. Sunday night, they had Sunday Night Baseball in Atlanta between the Guardians, or AKA the Indians, against the Braves. And it was the 60th anniversary of the Atlanta Braves coming to Atlanta. They were the Milwaukee Braves.
Yes.
In this deep south for the first time in '66. I found this on Wes Durham's Twitter page. I want to say thank you for his to put this on there if he is out there.
Hi, Wes. It's called
a little segment. He found the first broadcast of the Braves and Pirates, 1966, in Atlanta. Atlanta's first game at the Lansing-Fulton County Stadium, and it's by a legendary broadcaster who used to do the Georgia Bulldogs football games. So let's play this real quick here before we get ready for preview the Mets, more about the Mets and Dodgers. So here it is.
Away in the fifth. No score. Braves and the Pirates, 0-0. Menke the on-deck hitter. We've only got one hit off this guy, and the Pirates have 4 off Cloninger. But tremendous double plays by the Braves. I say tremendous because they dropped in key situations in the 4th with 2 on, and in the 5th after a man quickly got on. Helped get Tony out. 1 out, Charllie waiting. Bob Deal pitching it. Throws it a long ball into left. It's high. Milo, you remember what I said earlier? How Aaron and Cardi kept hitting him in the seats in the batting cage, and Torrey kept groaning and wanting to do the same and couldn't do it. He hit that one. Well, the big moose really tagged one, and boy, did he kiss it way up into those seats, and we've got a lead.
So Larry Munson was brought on the call 60 years ago on this past Sunday.
That's crazy.
And I want to say, is that last name is familiar? Is that Don Munson's father?
Chris, you are absolutely correct.
So when we see the gospel of Clemson football, our good friend Don Munson at the ACC. Hi, Don, if you're out there. Thank you for being a friend of a program. I would love to sit down and talk to him about his legendary father.
Yes.
Because I think it's cool to listen to the history of sports broadcasting. Like Wes Durham's father is well known in the North Carolina area for North Carolina football. And did he do football as well? Or he just do basketball?
I think he just did basketball.
Okay, so he did basketball. And then you got Larry Munson, who is Don Munson's father, who is a well-known broadcaster in the Georgia football lore. And his son is doing a great job in Clemson to become, the dean of Clemson football. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Adam there.
I'm here.
Lights out.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get Charlie Mitchell on another time. I guess he still bowling or something. We'll figure out down there. He'll text me later or call me tomorrow. Yeah. But we lost another major leaguer over the weekend. Phil Gardner.
We had legendary Milwaukee Brewers manager. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a little tribute to him here, real quick. Here is Phil Gardner. All his ejections when he was the managers for the Brewers and the Astros, and so it's pretty wild stuff. So here it is.
Batter is Ron Karkovice. Wegman comes a little inside, then 2 pitches later, way inside, hits Karkovice in the midsection. Umpire Rocky Rose says, Wegman, you're gone. Karkovice is not a happy man. The benches would empty, but no punches thrown. Brewer manager Phil Gardner. Rah, 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 rah. All right, you're out of here, too. Everything is normal.
Tough day for Jeff Houston. Well, didn't like the call.
It's Dale Ford.
Now what's going to happen?
He'll get ejected. Phil Gardner will get ejected. What's new?
His first hit and an RBI. Ouch! Woodard is still wild, and Al Martin thought about heading towards the mound. We got a big-time warning from Bob Davidson. Guess what? Phil Garner didn't like the warning. Goodbye, Phil. To the ninth, the Brewers are up.
So quick. The National League's ERA leader, freezing Jeff Cirillo. Next batter is John Jaha. The whiff. 2 strikeouts in the first. So in between innings, Phil Garner, Milwaukee manager, comes out to show home plate umpire Jerry Lane how wide his strike zone is. I don't think you're going to stay around too long when you do that.
But there's no way Sean Berry should have scored that run. Next batter, Derek Bell checks his swing. Meals again, says no swing, and then he tosses Phil Garner. Garner protests. He would say later, I don't think Meals knows what a strike zone is.
Facing Randy Velarde. Just a bit inside. Called the ball. Brad Ausmus disagrees with home plate ump Mike Fitcher. He's tossed, and Phil Garner just goes berserk. Getting his money's worth here. Cover that up. Where's Carl Everett? He could chime in on that maybe.
First dong of the year. Damon Easley. Whoa, fouls it off. Easley thinks he's hit by the pitch, so he's going to first. Easley, though, wait a minute. He's arguing. What do you mean? What? You're saying no.
Phil Garner passing away.
Yeah.
Former Pirate, part of the We Are family, that won the World Series in '79 over the heavily favored Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
And I feel seriously, you look at timelines, the Orioles didn't recover real well. They recovered a little bit because in the 80s they played really well. In 1980, they won 100 games, and then they won it again, and they won the World Series in '83. After that, it's downhill spiral.
True. Yeah.
Until 1997, when if you look at it, if Armando Benitez did not hang that curveball to a Roberto Alomar and Alomar hitting that home run in Game 6 at Camden Yards, the Orioles would have gone to the World Series.
That's true.
Yeah, same thing with the Mets. If good old Heidelman didn't throw that knuckle ball to Molina, the Mets would have played the Tigers in the World Series.
That's right.
Yeah, so things happen that way. Speaking of the Orioles, scary moment last night down at Camden Yards. The new manager for the Orioles needs to go call the Ravens to see if they can get a helmet for him.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, so here is this is from a beat writer from Andy Costa, who's from this Baltimore Sun. He recorded this. Jeremiah Jackson. Here's the video.
Holy Christ. Chris, you're muted.
Yeah. He was taken to the hospital, and the funny thing is, the guy showed up for work today.
What the heck?
Yeah. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah, we'll go with Chris.
That's a tough guy right there, big guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, speaking of that.
Yeah. You're frozen. Internet is not working. I have no idea. All right, so we're going to wait for, I don't know what's going on with Adam here. So, all right, folks, last night the Polar Bear actually hit his second homer as an Oriole. So here is great Brent, what's his name, Highlander on the Orioles radio network with the call.
The 0-1. He hits this high and deep to left center field. Way back it goes. It is gone. Pete Alonso has his moment, and the Orioles have seized the lead. 8-7, Baltimore.
Okay, so we used to hear that guy a lot in Citi Field, but this top of the hour is bringing our good friend Michael Barton, who covers the Mets for Just Mets. So, Michael, we heard a lot of Pete Alonso's homers last year, but it was pretty interesting to hear one last night in Baltimore. But we missed that guy.
Yeah, I mean, this team doesn't really they haven't hit for a lot of power yet. I mean, there's no question about it. They've hit how many home runs? I think 13, 14 home runs on the season in how many games? 17 games. I mean, that's, I think I think we expected. I mean, we had to just assume there would be a power drop off because when you let a 40 home run threat go,
Right.
there's I don't think there's no replacing a player like that, no matter what. Whether he's forecasted to diminish over time or whatever the case is. Like it's impossible to replace 40 homers, 100 RBI, 40 homer, 100 RBI players. And
Right.
I think they did a good job, at least on paper, trying to replace that power with 2 or 3 different players. But I mean, Alonso's an iconic Met, and I don't think 5-year contract's a great idea for him, but you'll know if it was a good idea or not in 5 years, right?
Right.
So,
Well, it's funny. People down here in Baltimore are complaining about Pete Alonso, and my friend Steve called me the other day. He goes, "What's wrong with Pete? Why is Pete not here?" I'm like, "Wait a minute. He's a slow starter in the early in the year, and we saw this last year, Michael. Right? He was a little bit better last year at this time of year, but currently over his lifetime, he was a little slow starter in April and May, and he picks up when the weather gets warmer." And last night down at Camden Yards was like in the 70s, and he that bomb in the left center field. So he might get himself ready to go soon if the weather stays warm here in Baltimore. If it gets back down to the 50s, he might be a little cold a little bit. But I've seen it over the years that he got he doesn't start hitting the ball well until late April, early May.
well, yes, but also I think there are some metrics which are a little concerning when it comes to Alonso right now.
Right.
Most notably, his bat speed in the early part of the season has not been what it has been in the past. Which, I don't know if the Mets were specifically concerned about that metric, but if you don't have a lot of bat speed, it's going to be hard to catch up to good good major league fastballs, especially in this era where everybody throws 95 plus. So, but it's early, so I don't think it's, and you could say the same thing about the 7 and 10 Mets. Like it's
Right.
very difficult to draw any conclusions when 1/10 of the season has been played for anyone or any team. But it doesn't mean there aren't concerns on the periphery, right? I mean, whether it's Alonso or you want to talk about Alonso or the Mets specifically, who have been just a dumpster fire in the last week, in the last 7 days, it's been terrible. It's been one of the ugliest stretches we've seen. It's like I shouldn't even say that's not fair. It's like I think I termed it yesterday in my newsletter. Like this is one of those vintage bad Mets stretches, where it's just this is the Mets, right? Like what you're seeing here now, these are the Mets, right? So, but I mean, for Alonso, like you have to see what time brings. It's so early. He's just getting his feet wet, with a new club, with new expectations, different culture, different environment. There are all sorts of human reasons why, a $35 million player might struggle, over the first month of the season.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's talk about this team. 20 straight innings without scoring a run. I think I did some research last night, early in this morning. You got to go back to 1968 when they didn't score a run for 23 innings, and that was a 23-inning game against the Astros. So it's kind of sad that getting close to. And guess what the date it was? April 15th, 1968. We're on the 14th of April of 2026. So
holy cow, Chris! Dang it!
I did some research. I'm like, that's crazy. So with a pitcher the Dodgers are throwing tonight, this could probably be broken by the time I get downstairs for the third inning. Yeah,
The funny thing is about that stat you just gave him, 1968. That was the year of the pitcher when they raised the mound, whatever it was, and so
that's right, Michael.
So at least then, and with the 68 Mets, which everybody expected them to be terrible, even with the new manager at the time, with Gil Hodges. It was like, okay, well, it's the Mets, right? They're the lovable losers. Like they're not the $400 million Mets of 2026 that was built, where the offense was rebuilt and revamped and reimagined. the concerning part about it is like, look, every offense goes through ups and downs. Like the Mets are not going to score 1.9 runs per game.
Right.
Like, it's not. That's what they've done over the last 7 days. They're not going to get shut out 3 out of every 4 games. It's not going. They could come out and score 10 runs today, and bust out of this. But the concerning part about it, in my opinion anyway, is you throw that series against the Giants out, who were not good. And it seems like this lineup is completely dependent upon the guy that's not there right now in Juan Soto. And that's not the way it was supposed to be. That's not the way it was designed. And again, it's 7 days. It's very difficult to draw conclusions, over 7-game samples. But if this goes on a month, even when Soto comes back, whenever that's going to be, and it doesn't sound like that's coming in the next week or so, but whenever he comes back, if the offense continues to struggle this way, then then I think we can start getting like seriously concerned about it.
Right.
But then they could score like 70 runs in the next 10 days, and then all of this is going to be put to bed.
Right.
So it's so hard to. It's concerning. It's aggravating. But I think the most concerning part about it is not even the offense. It's just the way they played. Francisco Lindor is, to me, the poster boy of all of that. And again, it's not that he doesn't have a home run and doesn't have or doesn't have an RBI.
Right.
I think that's part of the problem. He's a star player who's not producing, but it's the way he's playing behind his pitcher.
Right.
And that's the part that bothers me. Like the defense is what bothers me. The fact that they have, on any given day, 1, 2, 3, 4 players on the field playing position that's generally foreign to them. That's the part that's been concerning since they designed this roster. And I think you're seeing those growing pains through the first 2 weeks, 2+ weeks of the season.
Right.
Again, I expected it. Doesn't mean I like it, but I expect it. I expected it, and I expected that the team gelling and figuring out what their identity actually is would take some time, and perhaps a significant amount of time, right? It doesn't mean that, the average fan is going to be patient with a $350 million roster.
Right.
I understand that, but, just from a baseball perspective, sometimes it just takes time to come together. And again, if they go and win 10 of their next 17 and they're 500 after 35 games or whatever, then I think people will be they'll feel a little bit better about where this team is, even though 500 after 35 games might be disappointing. But, when you factor in the time it takes to put all this together, and the way they've started, I'd probably take 500 at that point.
Yeah.
Of course.
I had this mentality that get back to me in June or July.
That's what I was going to say, Chris.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
It's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
It's
April. It's April. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll agree with you, Chris. I mean, I look right now, in my opinion, when it comes to Major League Baseball, yes, the games in April, they do care, but I look at the beginning of the season to Memorial Day, and if you're a contention around there, then I think you're going to have a good season. If you're like toward the bottom, then it's like, I guess you look to 2027. But speaking of New York Mets, I actually have connections with the New York Mets. I have a cousin who knew the great Tom Seaver, and I had a grandfather who was a lawyer, who was one of the founding members of the New York Mets. So I have connections with the team, Michael. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Looking at the New York Mets right now, if they were to start to improve, do you think they can be in contention for the NL East, and because normally in the NL East, you look at Atlanta, Philadelphia, and the Mets, and they're always right there toward the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in contention right now. They're just struggling. I mean,
sure, okay.
Like I said, like this is New York. Talk radio is gunning for Carlos Mendoza's job, but they're 7-10. Every team goes through 7-10. No one's gunning for Aaron. No one's gunning for Aaron Boone's job, even though they've started to struggle over the last week.
Right.
True.
They're 3 games out of first. Despite the proverbial sky is falling on the Mets right now. They're 3 games out of first place. They could be tied for first in 4 days. Like it's so early.
Sure.
And they've underachieved. They've underperformed. This offense is, mind-bogglingly bad right now. But again, like the pendulum has to shift. Like, this is not a 25. This isn't a 25-game season. So
no.
I do think that they will be contending at the end of the year. I don't know that they're a 100-win team. I never thought that this was a 100-win team. But I don't think they're going to play 70 and 90. If that answers your question, I don't think that would be grossly underperforming the talent on this roster. If that were the case. So I would be seriously shocked if they were a 90-loss team, and that's the pace they're on today. But again, they're doing that without their best player and scoring 1.9 runs per game, and not even the worst team in baseball history scored 1.9 runs per game. So I'm not worried so much about, it's aggravating. I don't like it. I don't like it when my team loses. I don't like when my daughter's team lose. I don't like it. I hate losing more than I like winning. But
I'm sure that.
But I also know in baseball that this is just the beginning, and the Mets at some point will go on a 15-5 stretch, and then they're going to go on another 7-10 stretch. Like that's just what they're going to do. The only team that probably won't do that are the Dodgers, and that's the truth, right?
Michael. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's early in the season. I mean, every team goes through slumps. I mean, and that's what the New York Mets are in right now. They could bounce back tonight against Yamamoto and get the win, versus the Dodgers. I mean, it's like, I'm hoping it's a really good game tonight out there, at Dodger Stadium. I know that Juan Soto is on IR right now, and it's like, and we know about Pete Alonso not being there anymore. So what the team needs to do is step up, have other people contribute until Juan Soto gets back, and then when he does, then everything should be right with the world. But like I said, it's early.
Give it time. Just give it time.
Right.
Of course.
I think tonight would be a good way to start it, because you got 2 games, tonight in LA, and then you got an off day, and then you travel to Chicago to play a Cubs team is pretty good, at Wrigley Field. So if you could split on the road, that's better. That's what they did last time they were on the road this year. They didn't do well in St. Louis, and they did well in San Francisco. So
Well, I mean, I know it's early, but take a look what happened opening day when the New York Mets faced Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. They knocked Skeens out like not even a full inning, and it's like, and that's one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, to do that, that says something about your team.
Right. And I think though that again, it's like it's just one for Skeens specifically in that game. It's one game, right?
True.
You knew he wasn't going
That's
to pitch.
true.
He probably is not going to pitch like that again for the rest of the year. I mean, that was his worst start, I think, of his career. And
yeah.
And you know, the next time the Mets face the Pirates and they face Skeens, they're going to come out with a little chip on his shoulder. So
Well,
that's what happens.
That's true.
Exactly.
And Skeens did pitch in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA. So I don't know if that had an effect, when he had his opening day blunder against the Mets. But hey, it's only game one. You still got 161 games left to go.
There are all these theories about what the World Baseball Classic does to pitchers and players and preparation and all that. When it comes to Skeens in that outing, until someone has some objective proof, it just gets chalked up to a bad day.
That's
and
true, Michael.
The Pirates are 10-6. They're 10-5 since they lost that day. So
that's true.
They're off to a very nice start.
Of course, yes,
I like that team. Even though the Mets beat them 2 out of 3 in the first series, that's an improved team. That's a better team than they were.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Paul Skeens and now Connor Griffin, who's the MLB #1 prospect on your team, I'm not saying that the Pirates could win the NL Central, but when you have those two, I mean,
they'll be better. They'll definitely be better.
Oh, that's true, Michael. That's true.
Yeah. All right, Michael, we're up against the clock here, but thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope you enjoyed your game with your daughter today, and thank you so much for coming on, and we'll keep in touch, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, yep. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. See you, bud. Bye.
Thanks, Michael.
That's Michael Martin, who writes for Just Mets. The Mets and Dodgers tonight in L.A. If you want to do the polling question.
Chris, are you there?
Who's going to win tonight between the Mets and Dodgers? We know.
Chris, I think you're muted.
Yeah, not Met fans or Dodgers. We know that. We have our good friend Bill O'Neill. Let's bring him in. Who I think his Phillies are doing the same thing. Bill, is your Phillies are doing the same thing, not getting off the ground real good? Because we're not doing good with the Mets here either. The Mets are terrible. You guys.
No, I almost exit out of the stream. I heard you were talking Mets when I was in the waiting room. I almost had to leave, but yes, the Phillies doing the same thing. I think they were just losing. They were up 3-0 tonight, and now they're losing 7-3. So,
dude, it's April. That's what I look at. It's April. Like people get all in a tizzy in April. Like wait until like June or July. When everything starts back. Everybody gets their happy season. You see what's going on.
You can only react to the game that's played today. That's it.
Right.
So it's only you got. So.
Right, exactly. I don't know what happened to Adam, but let's bring in Chris Prather. I know you guys are getting ready for.
I didn't know Chris was going to be on either. This is I don't understand. We went from the guys were talking Mets, and now Prather's coming in. This is a disaster.
You had the Southeast represented, Bill, with the Atlanta Braves. So it's like, I mean, what you should do is called, when you go to Portland, Maine this week, you need to go find Taryn Hatcher, who's the reporter for the CW, since she used to cover the Phillies for NBC Sports Philadelphia. So it's like, I mean, you could talk Phillies with her all day long.
Yeah, the only thing is though, she has only comes on the weekends, and I haven't made a weekend in a while. I haven't got a chance to meet her yet, so I have to. I got to hang around for a weekend.
You got to. So, Chris, people last week on TV, how I know you came up short. Somebody got bowled $299 on you. That's a little hard to win a title. But just talk about your performance, because you haven't been on TV for a year almost.
Yeah, I made a show last year at the World Series for Scorpion, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good to get another win on TV underneath my belt as far as the game goes. I bowled a great title match. Honestly, I felt like I had the opportunity to win, and it blew my mind that Austin came out looking like he was a vet. I mean, he threw shot after shot online. I was more annoyed that he bowled $299 than him beating me. Like, if you're going to throw the front 11, you might as well strike. Right. That would have been the 4th 300 against me on TV. Kyle's got 2 and Belmo's got 1. So it's like, I'm going for records against, for most 300s bowled against me on TV at this point. Like, but yeah,
what's funny? But what's funny is I had that same feeling sitting in the chair when Chris bowled 280 against me in the tournament champions. That if he'd have just struck in the second frame, he could have had $1 million.
Yeah, hey, I tell you what,
and he didn't do that either. So,
hey, it was the second frame. I mean, let's be real. If I have the front nine, I can't walk. I'm not going to be able to walk. Like,
no, yeah.
My knees are going to be over there just clapping together.
I will say this to you too. I'll see you two next week in Akron for the TOC.
Let's go.
I mean, I have enjoyed watching the CW all year long. I will say, when Austin did what he did to you, Chris, I was like, all I've got to say is, what the heck is going on the PBA Tour this season with 3 rookies winning, a rookie shooting 300, CW on their TV debut? I mean,
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, and we still got this weekend and next weekend in Akron, and it's like, what a debut for a new network to come in and have this. I don't know. I'm still shocked.
The rookies nowadays have so much more experience as far as tournaments. Right? They have the SYCs, they have the PBA youth tours and things like that. So they have, and then college bowling on top of that. There's so much more around than when I was a kid, and Bill's even older than I am, so there's even less.
Oh man.
Hey, you were talking about me when we loaded up. I had to get one back. And so, I mean, it's just like they have so much more experience, and Austin already had experience on TV with the national championship at Weber. So, I imagine that he was a lot more comfortable on TV than I was my first time. So I just figured it would be like, 240 to 250, not 230 to 300 or 299. So it's just like, nothing I can do about it. It's just, I think it's good for bowling to see this up and coming talent and see that they're confident on TV off the rip. So it should make for good shows for the future.
Yeah.
And
Bill,
also,
your question, your friend Jason's not there. What happened to the group? You're bowling a new bowling partner this week. In the doubles. You and Jason are the modern day Mark Roth and Marshall Holman. You won last year. Like, why just where's Jason? You got to tell him, like, get your butt over here, buddy.
Unfortunately, this year the schedule was pretty tight, and then at the just at the point he is in his career, he's just he's looking for to bowl as much as he can, but also he's got 4 kids and he's trying to make it home, and he didn't want to be gone for like 4 months. So he told me like a couple weeks before the season started that these were the 2 events he was going to skip for the year. So yeah, it was obviously no hard feelings or anything like that. It just certainly respect his decision to want to go home, and you spent time with the family, and he gave me plenty of time to find somebody, and I still didn't find anybody to bowl with until like 2 weeks ago. But
really, oh my god!
I lucked into a pretty good partner, I'd say, last minute for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I will say this to you guys. What are your thoughts about what HBO did with a documentary about the sport of bowling? I mean, I watched all 5 episodes, and it was like, to see the emotional side of you guys, it's like, that's what people don't understand. Yes, you can get emotional. Yes, you can curse, and it's like, but what was your guys' overall take on how HBO and A24 Productions came in and said, hey, we want to do a documentary about the PBA Tour?
I think it's something that we've needed for a long time. I think it's great for us, great for the people who are a part of it. Admittedly, I haven't watched it yet. I'm a binge watcher, so I was waiting for it to be done. So, and I'll fire through it. yeah, I'm sure everything I've seen so far, clips and everything. It looks awesome, and I hope it gets approved again, and we can, it's something we can do in the future.
I think it's great, and it was also, and I know you guys, been to tournaments with you guys, and I know EJ Tackett dropping the F-bomb one time outside of Delaware when I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and he came outside and dropped the F-bomb, and I looked at him going, "Are you good?" He goes, "I'm good." I'm like, "All right, good." And I get it. You guys bowl in these tournaments. It's a lot of pressure on yourself because you got to make a living, and you're out there. Sometimes, Bill, you probably have to sponsor yourself. Chris, you do the same thing. You got to pay your way to go to these hotels, and you got to pay. It's like when we do our sporting events, we got to make sure we have the money we could do it. Sure. And there's sometimes we have to cancel things because we can't do it. And you guys have to do this for your living. And I know that it's stressful for you because we saw during that whole. And I know you're going to be watching the Bill. When you get home, Kyle Troop was like upset to the point he was crying. And my girlfriend's like, "Oh, Kyle's such a great guy, and I can't. Oh, I feel so sorry for him." And I'm like, Nicole, this is their living, and he basically didn't get he cashed, but he didn't make money that, he needs to pay for the hotel bill or whatever, and so Bill, talk about your experience on the road because you've been doing this for years, and you probably had some years that you didn't make a TV or make a cut or anything. You had to basically find whatever change you got to pay the hotel room.
Yeah, I think it's in those moments that you're emotional. I think it's less about the money, and it is just about everything that you do leading up to that. Like if you let's say you bowl you bowl something like the U.S. Open, and you're bowling all those games, and you fight for that many games to get on TV, and then it's one shot that derails you, and that's the end of your event. And that's is really, really tough. And you have all that adrenaline, and it just comes crashing down. And sometimes you don't really know what you're going to do when you get done. And I think you see it a lot of guys, and especially if it's people who have not been on TV for a while, or they've been struggling, and they get there and it doesn't work out, or people who've been on TV a bunch and they keep losing on TV. We've all gone through all those different experiences. So. Just the emotion hits, especially because we don't bowl that many events. We're bowling 10 or 12 events a year, so it's not like there's 35 events like golf or something where you just, all right, well, I'll just get them next week, or we'll figure it out in a month, and we don't really have that kind of time.
Yeah, Chris, same question for you. You won the tournament of champions a couple of years ago, big payday. And then this year and last year, you've been struggling trying to get on TV, or make cuts or whatever. You basically had to, find your way around. And, just talk about your trials and tribulations of being on the tour, because you do the same. You have a family. I think you moved to a new house, right?
I moved right after I won the playoffs.
Right.
And I'm trying to move to Florida because Illinois taxes are just awesome. But I mean, like the last couple of years, I've really been fighting through a bunch of mental battles as far as getting over my wrist injury. Like when I hurt myself at the U.S. Open, I've been working with Dr. Dean a bunch, trying to get over the fear of re-injuring myself.
Okay.
And being able to accept that I am stronger now than I was then. Okay. Because of the effort and the work that I've put in. So this year is the first year since that injury in 2023 that I've actually been confident that I'm at 100% and I can do all of the physical tools that I've learned over the years as far as my ability to play anywhere on the lane. Mm-hmm. So I've actually been really disappointed in my year because I haven't been this sharp in my entire career, honestly. I'm bowling physically and mentally better than I ever have. Mm-hmm. And to only have one opportunity at really making a show has been really frustrating. Mm-hmm. So, and then I got really sick at the U.S. Open, didn't eat for 2 days, had to take the next week off. So it's just I finally get, it's these physical ones that are
right
into illness rather than a physical thing. So I'm looking forward to the TO in this never ending battle of what's the next thing that's going to happen? What's the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought that like this past week in New York, the kind of like pressure, like, you know, get the monkey off my back again type of deal. But you know, I bowl well in Akron, and
You do. I will say
looking forward to being there, and hopefully, you know, having a pop at maybe Bull and Bill in the title match again.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean,
I'll sign up for that right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I do have one more question to ask you guys. I don't know if Chris has asked this, but what does it mean after a year hiatus to have the PBA tour go back to a place where you guys love it? You know how much I love it. The fans love it. So what does it mean for you guys to return to Bayside after a 1-year hiatus?
I mean, for me, being on the Portland team, bowling the league here, it always felt like a party, and it felt like a real sporting event. Like, if I could imagine bowling as, you know, treated as if it was football or basketball, where the people are just loud and they're having a good time and they're rooting on everybody, like it's a different kind of feeling than we get anywhere else. So I'm excited to experience it again, hopefully on TV on Sunday. And it's just going to be cool to just see everybody, right?
And go eat good lobster.
Oh,
right, guys?
yeah, I've already partaken, honestly.
Okay.
A good lobster roll.
Did you go to the High Roller Lobster Company?
No, we're going tomorrow after practice. We went to Gilbert's.
It's okay. I think it was either the last year I was there. They were doing a photo shoot at High Roll, and I saw you guys walking around while I was eating my lunch. I was like, what are they doing? I was like,
yeah, they did
what
a
are
special
they doing here? And I was like, I mean, hey, the High Roll Lobster Company is a really good place to go get lobster. So,
oh yeah,
have some lobster for me, guys, since I can't be up there this year. But I'll see you guys in Akron next week. I look forward.
I got to ask you guys before we go, what does it mean winning this double championship? Because it's Roth and Holman, and there were two legends of this game back in the days when we were growing up. You know, Mark Roth and Marshall Holman. We talked to Marshall a couple of years ago, or a year ago, and you guys won it. You know, what was it like winning this championship? Because you have Marshall Holman there to they signed the trophy for you. And his Mark Roth's wife Denise. I don't know if she's going to be making the trip, but what's it mean for you guys to win a title representing a great doubles tandem?
Yeah, I mean, winning out here in general you can't take it for granted. It's amazing. It's always an incredible feeling. And then, to have Mark and Marshall there when we won some years ago and signed our trophy, it was one of the coolest experiences that I've had. I got to win it with one of my best friends, so it was just like all together. It was really neat, and definitely a memory that I'll cherish for a long time.
Same thing for you, Chris?
Yeah, it's an awesome experience. If I'm remembering correctly, when Andrew and I won the doubles for the first time, that was actually my 5th title, and got me a step closer to being Hall of Fame eligible. And then I won the World Championship here the following year, and that got me there, right, for the 2 majors, right. And so anytime that I get to shoe up with Andrew in this doubles event is a really cool experience. And then seeing Marshall sign the trophy, it's like, like how you see like a little kid grab their pen and like one of us signs it and they're like, got to protect the signature, can't make it smudge. Like that's how I feel holding the trophy. It's like it's like a fragile little thing from then on, or I can't like mess it up, and it's got to stay in like a little box where nobody can touch it. It's pretty cool.
I think it's cool for us when we do this podcast. I get a chance to interview people I grew up watching.
Same here.
TV. Like my mom was tuning in one time. She goes, "Man, little Chris enjoyed talking to Pete Weber." I was like, "Yeah, it was pretty cool." And I remember sitting in front of the television watching this guy being fist pumping and also, and I know Billy, you do too. And fist pumping and excitement and all that stuff. And I was a kid growing up, and I'm like, I want to be a bowler just like him, but I didn't make it that way. But
No.
I still love watching you guys, run them out and fist pumping them, and and I used to get yelled at in league bowling one time, like, you're not Pete Weber, stop it. I'm like, okay, Mom. Like
but it's like, I mean, it's like for me, you guys know this. You guys have seen me enough on the, when I travel, it's like, heck, I never thought I'd get a chance to go to the Tournament of Champions and AMF Riviera Lanes next week and see all my friends again, including you guys. And it's like after watching on TV all year long and seeing what you guys have on social media, in regarding to your Pokemon collection, Chris, I mean, it's like, I don't know what it is about you guys and Pokemon and sports cards. I mean, I personally love it. I mean, it's like, but it's been fun, to watch you guys all year long. And now next week I'll be there in Akron. I get in Wednesday night, from Cleveland, and I'm going straight. There you go. Yeah. It's coming.
Nice.
Yeah, but still, it's like I'll be there Wednesday night, for last part of qualifying and all the rest of the, the rest of the week. So I look forward to seeing you guys, next week. And as always, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, no problem, man. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
All right. I hope to see you guys Father's Day weekend. If I could get out of town for a day to go see you guys up in Lehigh, because I was planning.
Yes, I will be there as well. So
I hope to see you guys there. But you guys, good luck this week, and good luck. And if you see that guy next week, make sure he's good taken care of.
Absolutely.
Because he might want to hire a contract. I don't think I have it, so I may have to let him go.
No. Those two will take care of me. But
all right, Bill. Thanks so much.
See you guys later.
All right, thanks, guys.
I see it. Bye.
See you.
Thanks, guys.
It's Bill O'Neill and Chris Prather joining us.
Yeah,
I have fun. Adam, I was
love
watching
those guys. I mean, it's.
I was watching the Bowl in the Bowl last night, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're TV, I was like, I might have to get you a better contract.
I didn't see myself. I looked for myself.
I didn't see you at all.
I was like, oh well. I mean, but I can say I was there last year.
Yeah, you were there, but we were.
I was there, but
we had to zoom back and forth to try to see if we could find you.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing. It's
but
oh
well. Well, but
they call this the Roth Holman doubles. But if you look at it, our friend Mike Albee and Steve Cook should be called. It should have been called the Albee and Cook.
Yeah. Oh, I know because
they both are tied with Mark Roth and Holman for 3 doubles in their career.
Right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, because Mike and Steve were dominant in the late '80s.
Sure was.
And at that time, it was called the PBA Showboat Doubles Classic.
Yes.
And then one year was down in Belmont, Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's been going around the country, but now they're up in Portland this weekend. And hopefully, Chris Prather, if you're in Portland tomorrow, Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson are going to start at 9 a.m. And they pull up on their bracket. They have to take on Michael Davidson and Keppinger, number 24 versus number 9 at 9 a.m. And then for Bill and Graham Falk, who are a good friend from Canada, they're a good Canadian there. Yes. Besides the astronaut, and the astronaut is pretty good too. There's a lot of Canadians. There was a question on Twitter the other day. I was about ready to put Graham Fox's name on there because they asked the guy on Twitter, who is the most famous Canadian and I put Gordon Lightfoot because everybody knows.
I saw that on Twitter. I know about Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, but I was thinking about Graham Fox because he's doing really well this year. I don't know if I was going to get anybody to say, "Yeah, give me a thumbs up."
Chris, is our last guest ready?
Yes, he's right here. So speaking of last Sunday,
Chris, can I bring him in?
Yeah. Well, let's play the.
Yeah.
I think I have the.
Play the clip.
Sound for it. Do I have the sound? Okay. You bring him in, and we'll play him this last.
Yeah, so folks, if you have been watching the PBA Tour on the CW this year, history has been made because not 1, not 2, but 3. That's right, folks. 3 rookies have won on the PBA Tour. Brandon Bonta at the Players Championship, Spencer Robarge at the Pilgrims Ohio Classic, and our last guest of the night. He threw a 299 to defeat Chris Prather, and next week he will be at AMF Riviera Lanes to compete at the Tournament of Champions. So joining us now is the newest winner on the PBA Tour. I don't think he has a bowling ball manufacturer yet, but welcome in Austin Grammer joining us tonight. So Austin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations on your victory in New York. So what does it mean for you now to say, come next week, I will be at an historic place like AMF Riviera Lanes in Akron, Ohio, at one of the biggest tournaments on the PBA Tour?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to bowl it. Originally, I thought I wasn't gonna get to bowl because I wasn't even able to bowl the PTQ because I wasn't a regional champion. But now I get to get into the event, which is super cool.
Nice. So talk about the pressure of being the #1 seed. Okay, you're sitting around for basically an hour and a half, pretty much, and you see Chris Prather, who we just had the shark on a couple minutes ago, tearing up the television, going through the step ladder, knocking people off, and then you bowling this guy is really hot. You get up and you bowl a 299. Was that in your cards, bowling a 299? Well, did you wake up that morning, Sunday morning, going, I want to bowl a 300 game on TV? Were you thinking that, or you were just want to get a first time on television? Did you have any nerves? Like, people get nervous on television because I remember I was a kid growing up. Pete McCormick bowled a perfect game on TV, and I still remember this. He was so nervous in the 10th frame, his face was like shaking, and he was like, "Oh my!" And if you want to see it, go on YouTube. He was shaking to the point like his hands were shaking, and he got the perfect game on television. And he was excited. Were you nervous at that point? Going, if I get this strike, I could have another perfect game on television, and I could get a big payday, and I'm set for life after that. What was your take on that?
So I was nervous earlier on in the morning when I was eating breakfast.
Okay.
I was really nervous, and then once I walked into the bowling center, it kind of went away a little bit.
Okay.
And then getting the practice session on the pair, I felt like I wasn't really super nervous at all. And then waiting around was kind of long, honestly. I felt like the show was taking forever because I just really wanted to bowl.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of excited to go over there. And then finally it was my turn. And walking over there, I didn't know how my look was going to be actually because I didn't really trust the urethane on the right lane. And then once I got my practice shots, I was like, yeah, I have the look to bowl a really good game. And yeah, I ended up finding 299.
Nice. Hey, yeah, I'm trying to download I'm trying to give you the sound from the broadcast. You probably heard, from your family probably gave you the broadcast, But what was it like, you get up there and then the 10th frame, you got 2 strikes. And you're like, okay, I need another strike to get a perfect game. And you throw the ball and kind of went a little bit to the right. And you're like, I might get a split. And you're lucky and you got a 9, and it was 299. And you're in a long list of 299 games on television. You got to go back to Johnny Petraglia. You got to go back to Don Johnson in 1916. These guys are legends of the game. But you're in the same conversation now because you're like, your first title, 299. People, will know you as Mr. 299. You could have been Mr. 300. But for you winning your title in New York, that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I thought the staff at ABC Gates were really nice, and the venue was really cool. And New York's a pretty historical place. It's one of the biggest places in the United States, so it was really cool to be able to win in such a big city.
Yeah, Adam, you have a question for me?
Yeah. So, growing up, did you have any favorite bowlers you loved watching compete on TV?
Yeah, Mike Fagan was my favorite. I thought he threw the ball really, really cool. And it was really smooth, and I really liked how he threw it. So yeah, I ended up liking him.
Okay. Yeah. And how did you take an interest in the sport of bowling?
So my parents used to bowl on Friday nights.
Okay.
And then I ended up picking up junior bowling on Saturday mornings. And I looked it up. I started bowling when my first league that's in bowl.com is when I was 6, and I averaged 87.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. I still remember the first time I bowled. My parents got me this 6-pound bowling ball, and I found it still at my parents' house. It was an old AMF. It was like so old. And I remember I thought it died and went to heaven when I was a kid when I got this bowling ball. I thought I was going to be Pete Weber, because I was 6 years old, and I got this brand new bowling ball my dad got me. I remember we were living in New York in the time. We were living in Long Island. We had to go to some place in Rockville Center to get the bowling ball. And now I look at these bowling balls I have in my car, and I don't have the urethane bowling balls. I have the old rubber ball and the old plastic ball. These are things and it still works, but I can't bowl them I can't use them on tour because they're outlawed.
Yeah.
But I had the great Mark Roth one time. I talked to him on the phone years ago before we started doing this video thing and radio thing. I talked to him on, for interviews I was doing for the college. And he asked me, he goes, Chris, what kind of bowling ball you got? I'm like, well, I got a plastic ball and I got a rubber ball. And you know what he said to me? Still works? He goes, I said, yeah, it still works. He goes, you don't need to buy a bowling ball. You're fine. Why go out and buy, 125, we have friends, Adam and I have friends who bowl on the weekends, and he just bought 2 new bowling balls. And I'm thinking to myself, I have a new bowling ball with autographs on it, but I ain't going to use it. That's going to be in my closet. I'm keeping that sucker. But but for you, it must have been cool, having people afterwards, talking to you and asking for autographs, and these young kids looking. Now you probably have new fans looking up to you, going, "I want to be like Austin." He won a title and he came out of nowhere. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I do have the clip for your last shot, so let's play it for everybody if you missed it. This is you in the 10th frame. Okay, I want to ask you, what was the mindset going into this in the 10th frame? You're trying to bowl a perfect game, but was that in your mind? Or are you just realizing you just beat Chris Prather and you're going to win a title? You got it. You got that trophy is right over there next to the the folks doing the broadcast. You're like, I already won it, But let's play it real quick and we'll talk about it. Hold on.
I gotta focus on making strikes, and he continues to make strikes. Back to Hammer does it again. Back to force. No.
299. I thought I had your last shot, but anyway. But that must be cool. Getting up on TV, throwing your first strike, and you must be like, "All right, this is awesome." Let's just get going. And what was it like bowling against Chris Prather? Because about Chris Prather. He's a shark, or my girlfriend calls him Clark Kent because he looks like Clark Kent. He's a legend of this game right now. One of the new bloods and part of the old school. And you get in you're getting ready to get on TV, and you're thinking, I got to bowl Chris Prather. This is going to be tough. Well, what was your mindset for that?
So obviously Chris was great, probably the best physical game on the planet. But truthfully, I didn't really care who I bowled, honestly. I mean, I competed against the best of the best all week, and I was able to come out as the 1 seed, so I knew I had ball reaction, and at that point, it was just going to come up to if I could make it enough shots.
Nice. Adam, you got the last question for Austin.
Sure. So, going into match play, I know you were up there all week in contention. So did you ever get the feeling that I'm in contention? I could make the TV show on Sunday.
Yeah, it happened like the match against Shota. I kind of realized I was like 1 match away. And then I saw that like Darren and Kyle had lost.
Yep.
And I was like looking around, and I was like, I could just be the 1 seed if I win my match. And so I didn't feel nervous at all, but I kind of got like excited almost in the match. So.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, bud, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and good luck next week in Akron. And you have that guy right there. He's going to be there.
If you need anything, Austin, just come find me. I'll tell you where to go for food, where to go. Anything you need, come find me and I'll hook you up.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, buddy. Have a safe trip. Okay.
Yep.
All right, buddy. See you, bud. Bye.
See you.
All right, that's Austin Grammer, winner of the New York Classic up in Rochester, New York, where
The Lilac Capital.
Used to be the home of the Kodak Invitational or the Rochester Open. I played on Saturday on our Twitter page.
I did.
Tim Crisp was bowling in the last one.
Yes.
Yeah, our good friend Tim Crisp.
And Norm Duke won the final stop in Rochester before Austin won.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, it was a good show. I appreciate it.
Was, yeah. It's called. Sorry for the internet issues on my end. I mean,
that's all right. Internet. There's something wrong with the internet.
These things happen, so I'm glad I was able to. But
so next week we're gonna do the show on Tuesday at 7:30, no matter what, because I think that'll probably be best for us to do.
Yeah, and we'll get ready for me going to Akron.
Yes. Before we go, we do have some stuff we have to play. I know Matt. I thought Matt was going to be here to join us to talk about Roy. Making.
You mean Rory?
Yeah, Rory and McIlroy. Yeah, Roy making history. So
Again.
here's the final putt from last week's Masters.
His year again. Rory is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
So congratulations to him winning back-to-back Masters, and I thought he was going to blow it. He blew it on Saturday.
I know. I was watching. I was like,
stroke lead and then tanked it. But he was lucky to keep that one-stroke lead going into the final round. So crazy. So we got that. The song we played before the show tonight. It was on this date in 1971. Let me bring this up here. Let me read it for you. The Illinois Crime Commission came out with a list of drug-oriented tunes. The songs were infinitely included "White Rabbit" by Jefferson Airplane, and then the song we played by Ray Charles, "You Got Stoned," because I guess they didn't like the reference of the word stone. And did you know the song "Rocky Mountain High" from John Denver was banned in England on the radio?
I think I knew that.
Yeah, because of the word Rocky Mountain High. They thought he was getting high in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, back then everybody was weird.
You think.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Thanks for Jeff Culhane joining us. I'm sorry we were Debbie Downers to him, but
don't worry, we'll fix it when
we'll fix it in July. On July 15th, when we will
be
in Charlotte.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
And for the night before, we're going to eat all that barbecue to the point that my pants are going to explode.
Like we normally do.
Hey, Jen, if you're watching it, we're not bringing home doggy bags.
No, we're not bringing home doggy bags. But it will be cool to catch up with everyone.
Yeah, it'll be. But we got a lot of stuff ahead of us.
We have a lot. So
we got a lot ahead.
Next Tuesday, and
we might take a little break for 2 weeks in the middle of June sometime, just to, because we normally do that.
Well, yes, we do. We normally do take a summer break, and we probably will again this year. Yeah, so we can re-energize ourselves.
Yeah, before we get back to the ACC kickoff and get through that stress drive, because we know we're going to enjoy some hopefully cover some Towson football and and some Florida State football games. And I would like to go to Louisville, see Louisville and Florida State.
I would love to go, Chris. If you go there, I'll join you.
But that would be a good rematch. That's the rematch of the ACC title game from a couple years ago,
2023 when we were there.
Mm-hmm. and then they play Pitt, this year as well, and
they play Florida on Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday, and then we got some other games we want to cover as well, and we got to talk Temple, our friend, and we're going to play half of that. Finish that interview next week on the show. We're going to make some time for that.
Yeah, we'll get.
I got so many interviews in the can right now. I'm trying to fill them all in holes.
Yeah. And I've got interviews to get when I go to Akron next week. So for the show. So
so we'll see if anybody voted, folks. If you want to vote on who's going to win the Met game tonight, you can do that right now if you like to.
Chris, my vote.
Mets.
Exactly.
Okay.
Chris, it's called. I'm voting for the Mets.
And then over here, if you vote down, do you think Florida State football will have a winning record? And say yes. So you guys can do this online as well, anytime during the show. Folks, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel,
yes, subscribe to our YouTube
subscribe button. We would love to have you on our join us for all the good stuff we do. Like we had last week, Mark Grant on it. Mark Grant was very good from CBS. That was an interesting interview. Next week we'll get Adam ready for Akron. We'll try to talk to. We'll find some people who are in Akron. Maybe we could give him a Chambers of Commerce week for him.
just like when I was in Portland. I may not be there this week, but Chris, I'll always be there.
Maybe we can get your friend Mike and Joel to come on next Tuesday and recap.
Yeah, well, actually, they can't.
Yeah, because they're driving from Portland to.
No, they're not driving.
They're flying.
They're flying, and next Tuesday they are
in the program, right?
They are bowling in the program, so I'll give you. So
we'll figure out something with him. We'll figure out something with him.
Well, I know, and it's like
maybe they could tape. Maybe we could do. Monday. If I get off work on Monday around 8 o'clock or 4:30, we could do something Monday. If they're I don't know when they're flying there. We'll
I could ask Mike. So.
All right, folks. We appreciate you. We'll join you next Tuesday at 7:30. We're going to do 7:30. I know the last couple weeks.
7:30. Yeah.
At 7:30 because I know the last couple of weeks we've been doing it at 7:15 because we've been trying to get a lot of people on our program that want to join us, and sometimes they have.
We'll get Charlie Mitchell on another time. We'll get Justin Knowles on another time.
Yeah, we'll get Justin on another time. He got stuck in travel today, so.
No, is he going to Portland?
Yes, he's in Portland right now. He's going to be bowling in the.
Oh yeah, and Chris, Charlie Mitchell's actually participating in the doubles championship as well. He's bowling with Arturo Quintero.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah, so he is participating.
Nice. That's cool. Well, we'll see you all next Tuesday night at 7:30. But right now, we're going to leave you with Elton John talking about Rocket Man because we knew last week we had the space shuttle, but this song was debuted in UK on this day in 1972, and it was number 2 in UK, number 6 in the United States. So here is Rocket Man from Elton John. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 7:30. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Good night, everybody.
She packed my bags last night, free flight, 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. This lonely outer space on such a timeless flight.